What up? What up? Hey, Houston. You wanna come and say what up? You wanna come and say what up? Look, there's no camera. You can come and say what up. Alright. How's it going, everyone? I am doing all right. We are doing okay. Abada bing. And of course it's not working. Oh, it is working. Okay, good. How's it going, everyone? How are we doing? Xbox Quackers? Dwayne? How's it going? Hellblade look real good, right? Dwayne, if only you knew the day I had today. Makeup is the last thing I need. Yeah, in the lounge. That's what I like to hear, PS5 blows. Yeah, I've had a horrendous day today, mate. But I'm here, and earlier than usual, I tried my best. And, well, let's see if we can have a great stream to lighten my mood. Because, there's a lot of stupidity to get through today. Leafstorm, where are you usually at this time? Where are you? No, that's not it. Alright, let's look at this. No. No. Let's go back. Alright. So we are gonna do this. And then do this. So that's ready for all of you when you finish the stream to go check it out. Alright, that's done as well. I'm happy. We are doing good. So, what are we all up to? Since I haven't seen you guys for such a long time. It's been forever and a day, right? It's been forever and a day. Hey, Steve. So I'm thinking we get through some news today and then maybe play some games. Oh god, that went the wrong way. Chaos choking live on stream. Not the best thing. Rick, baking a cake? Yeah, I'm not allowed in the kitchen. You, sir? No! Where'd it go? No! Let me send out a signal flare. Signal flare. Signal flare. By the way, I am still trying to get an offline interview with one of the free senior management. I've made a little bit of progress, at least. It's not a lot, but I've made a little bit of progress. So that is good. It will likely be offline. So at least I'm slightly edging in that direction now. We managed to find someone that's got direct contact with senior management. And now I've put through the formal request. So, fingers crossed, might be able to at least have an informal chat and see what they're prepared to answer and what they're not. Xbox senior management. The trio. One of the trio. Anyone. I'll take anyone at the moment. Let's just see how much they actually do value the big guy and the small guy. Even if it's Phil, I'll take it. If it's Sarah, I'll take it. If it's Booty, well, I'll have to show him some Nikkei, and then we can continue. So, yos. Hopefully, that turns into something good. I have 70 hours in Rebirth, and I haven't even started Chapter 12. Jay, I'm still on Chapter 2. I'm just not drawn to it. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna, maybe because I've just been so busy and I'm having just a ridiculous time at the moment, but my game time has gone right down, like drastically down. Benaya, if you're looking for that Star Trek experience, you know it's Star Citizen. Adidas! Man, when I heard someone say your name, Adidas, as Adidas, that sounded so weird. Like I don't know, like almost sounded alien. Yeah, we in the UK say it as Adidas. But how's it going, my dude? Thank you for that $5 super chat. Just starting Fallout 4 for the first time? Oh, you're in for a treat. Just make sure you do remember the main plot, because it is really easy to kind of start the plot, start the game, and then kind of forget about who's been taken and kidnapped and thrown away and whatnot, and you go and become a farmer for the rest of your life. And then you're sitting there like 10 years later going, wasn't there something I was supposed to do? And yeah, that's the thing. Dwayne Morse with the 5 gifted memberships. Edward, Brandon, Nicholas, One Punch Jedi, and Dork50. Thank you very much for that, Dwayne. I appreciate you. More memberships, more fun. It all goes to supporting what I do, and I appreciate it, especially with the amount of demonetized content I get on a regular basis. It's crazy. See, Bonaya, for me, Starfield is better than Skyrim. But there's a reason I say that. Because I'm a space person. Like, I grew up on, like, the Next Generation, the Star Treks. Star Wars for me is cool. But I love the Star Trek exploration, the whole going to see what's out there. Even on barren planets where nothing is there, I love that exploration of what's around the corner. Generally, there's nothing. But to me, that aspect of it is what fuels my childhood dream. My dream, as some of you know, is to go to space one day. Probably never happen, but like that's how much I love space exploration and sci-fi. Oh, Bonaya, I've seen the Squadron 42. I am really looking forward to that. Like, I am really, really looking forward to that. I am so looking forward to that. You see, Dwayne? Something else we have in common. Hey, Brandon, how's it going? Building ships in Starfield is fun. But yeah, that Well, and from Squadron 42, we do know that the team that was basically building all the components and all the, the tool set for it, it's now feature complete. All the features are now complete for that game, so they are feature ready. Temper expectations while dealing with Scam Citizen. I wouldn't call it Scam Citizen. It's just never coming out. That game is never getting released. Starfield, I mean, it pretty much is, Dwayne. It's just Fallout in space. Where is the link to my Discord? Is it not in the description? If you can't see in the description, Taz will post it in just a second. Have I played Star Trek Resurgence yet? I have not. I have not. I do want to. I have been playing the VR Star Trek though. Decks, I think it is. Upper Decks or something like that. That's really fun. Squadron 42. From what we've heard, there are plans to push it to consoles. The only problem is it might not go to Xbox because Roberts hates Microsoft with a passion. Like, he absolutely hates Microsoft. So it'll be interesting to see if his hatred gets in front of him making money. Because they used to work together before they split and became Roberts and Sons. Well, in Star Citizen, your data gets wiped regularly at the moment, so every few months. So money is of no real context. Give it till May. It comes out end of May, so give it to the start of May and you'll be able to pre-order. I really hope they reconsider and release a physical version of it. I'd buy it. I'd buy it instantly. Consolidation is the enemy of... I saw that clip earlier. I think Gaz posted it, but I can't find it anymore. And it's a little annoying because I wanted to listen to that post because he clipped it out. That was the article that I was saying that was actually really well done by CNBC, I think it was. Oh, I found it. So we can go through that as well today. We can go through that as well because it was a good little Jimmy Ryan getting like body checked. So, are we ready to start our first topic? And do you know what, chat? For those of you that want to jump on and air your view, I guess Taz didn't put the Discord name down. Let me get the link for the Discord. And if you did, I didn't see it, and I apologize, but I'll grab it now. Bada bing, bada bing. There we go. Discord. Don't forget, after this stream, check out the video that I posted. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. In fact, do it now. We are, we're only 367 away from 7,000 subs. If every one of you created like 5 accounts each and then subscribed, we'd be there. You see how easy it is, chat? There's the Discord. There you go, see? Leaf Storm is already on it. He knows. By the way, Leaf, is that one for each cat? Is that one for each cat? Let's see. So if anything, Consolidation creates creativity because some of these fired devs will go on to make their own stuff. It happened before, it'll happen again. Yeah. Yeah, that's my Discord. Hey, Sanchez. Hey, Oreo is actually in a much better mood today. Still doesn't like the treats I give him, so I'm going to have to go buy him some different treats. Ordered him some new toys today, so hopefully he'll like them. Devastator member for 5 months. I saw that video of Harmon again. My dude, you love Harmon too much. But I got it and I appreciate it and we'll check it out. We will laugh at Mr. Butt Sniffer once more. Just not the other guy. The other guy is just a loser. I don't understand how the other guy has got like 30,000 subs. You woken up by the cats? Well, it's like I woke up the other night to go toilet. You know, because I'm diabetic. I wake up frequently. And I saw Oreo sitting right next to my son's head. My son's sleeping, and he's just sitting there watching him and just going, meow, 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 like constantly. And for him to wake up and put in food. I'm like, that's some determination right there. My dude would not take no for an answer when it come to his food. Like literally, just it was there. It was like my son didn't wake up. Like once he's like me. True story. Back in my old place years ago, like this was like 15 years ago now. We had an industrial estate like 2 blocks aside, and that blew up. You had the fire brigade round. It shook the whole like block of flats. Our plates and stuff in the kitchen dropped and smashed. Wife and kids all scared because of the tremor that it gave. I slept through the whole thing, right? I wake up the next morning, walk into the train station. This was when my health was in good shape. I look up. It's literally like a dark cloud. You can't even see like the stars or anything. This was like 6 a.m. when I left the building. It's really dark. But it shouldn't be because due to the time change, it should have been quite bright by 7 a.m. I get on the train. I pick up the Metro newspaper. Yeah, that garbage newspaper. It's free. It's a comic book that we read on the train. Anyway, I go to like page 4 and it's a little byline. And it says explosion in southeast London. And then I look at the area and it has like a little map. And I realize it's literally on top of where I live. And so I get on the phone and I call my wife and I go, "Hun, did you know that there was an explosion last night?" And she's like, "You don't say! We all tried waking you up, but we thought you were dead because you just wouldn't move." I slept through the whole ordeal. Apparently they were shaking me and everything. I was out cold. I only found out what was happening the next day. It was let's just say it was interesting times. Cesano, you are good. Oh, and Steve. Cesano became another waifu player. He's playing Tower of Fantasy. You wish you could do that with your cats? So, Has anyone seen this article? This is actually what my video is based on, and I go through a massive rant with this on that video. So if you want to see me losing my shit a little bit, that is the right video. If that sort of thing does not entertain you, then it may probably not be the one for you.
Dad.
Yes, buddy?
You need to charge this.
I need to charge it? I need to charge it? Are you done with my Chrome charger? You are? So does this mean I can tickle you now? No?
No.
I think I should be allowed.
No.
Isn't that like what dads do?
No.
What do dads do?
No.
Are you a note emoji?
Mm-mm.
Here, give me the charger. You know there is... no, don't leave it tangled. It's tangled. Oh. Oh, no. You said. Is that a cable? Is it? No. Sorry, chat, 1 second. Okay. Alright. Got my fan sorted because it was really hot in this room. Because I've been quite agitated today. Alright, IGN. So they've been community noted already. The community notes have changed. To say that there isn't a Resident Evil 5 remake or remaster happening. But what IGN is saying here is that Resident Evil 5 cannot be remade. It cannot be remastered. It cannot be remade because it has a white dude and a colored woman shooting people in Africa. But they did go and say in the article, right, that if it was a person of color shooting white people, that would be okay. I'm not joking. It's in the link. It's in here. That would be okay. But they did say that that would be too different for the game. Right? I'll show it to you. I lost my shit in the video for this. Where is it? And if you take Africa out of Resident Evil 5, it isn't Resident Evil 5 anymore. Even with a vastly improved, more sensitive take on the content, perhaps one with a black protagonist and more emphatic look at the outbreak. So they'd be completely okay if the roles were reversed, but because it's not reversed and it's the other way, and, you know, in 2009, they say it was perfectly okay, but now in 2020, it's racist. Like, what do you think of this? Remakes the chicken. So the TLDR is that IGN is saying that Resident Evil 5 cannot be remade today because it has a white dude shooting a bunch of people of color in a game that's centered around Africa. But if the protagonist, if Chris Redfield becomes a person of color, and then you remove it from Africa and say bring it to the United Kingdom or to the USA, you know, a country where it's predominantly white, then that's okay. You can go to town and wipe the floor with them. Mahayanist, that is what IGN wrote. Yes. Like, this is garbage. But do you know why? Do you know why they're doing this? Do you know why they're doing this? Do you know why they're doing this, folks? I tell you why they're doing it. I tell you why. Because I know why they're doing this. News is slow. I know, trust me, I've been scraping the internet for any piece of news. It is slow as hell right now. They know that pandering to the Sweet Baby Inc. community is going to get mega clicks, which means mega engagement, which means mega money. And so they are monetizing and weaponizing this whole situation to make money. They don't care about the whole DEI, the whole racist aspect or anything. They are monetizing it so, you know, they can get the thing, views. They deleted it. They deleted it. And then they blocked the replies. They deleted the original article. I didn't notice that. They deleted it. They deleted the original article. That's why... There's the original one. You see it? There it is. This article misconstrues the story of Resident Evil 5. IGN rated the original story, Resident Evil 5, a 9 out of 10. They actually deleted it and reposted it because they were absolutely flamed for it. Ha 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 ha! Exposed, bitches! Oh, man. SBI is the new Microsoft is doomed. I wouldn't say Microsoft know exactly what they're doing. I mean, I don't understand why gaming has to be political. Don't forget, right? I'm a grown guy. I'm a man. I'm in my 40s. Well, I just started my 40s. But there are kids playing video games. And they don't care about what color their friend is. Right? My kids have got white friends, Indian friends, African friends. They don't go to them and say, I'm not going to play with you because of your color. They just want to play. They're kids. But this is ridiculous. But you're exposing young kids to this. It's not right. 40s is the new 20s. I like it, Donade. I like it. I like it. I'm still a kid with more expensive toys. I just wish I had more time to play those toys. Lately, with everything going on in my life, I've not had much time. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe this Saturday, I'm going to get some good news. Fingers crossed, on Monday, on Tuesday, on my Tuesday stream, I'm going to come with some good news. And if we do, it's going to be smooth sailing. I'm going to have like 2 weeks off. I am going to game the living shit out. But this is absolutely terrible. But IGN got absolutely murdered here. They deleted all the comments. 5.4 million views. You know that this shit... I liked Resident Evil 5 if you're playing it in 2 players. If you're playing it in single player, you're not going to have a good time. Hey, Zrogdal. Susanna, you're fine. Not talking about that here, mate, in Discord. Yep, I know what you mean, dude. That's her name. I couldn't remember her name, Sully. Even in my video, I couldn't remember her name. Her name was Shiva. Oh, no, Alpha 1. This game is hot garbage single player. Like, you would struggle to give it like a 1 or a 2, to be fair, because it's just unplayable. The AI is really, really dumb. And the management for your inventory becomes a nightmare between the two. But if you're playing 2 players, like I played it with a friend of mine on PC, just 2 years ago, actually, it's really good. Yeah, I know what you mean. I get that, Leafstorm. Single player. These journalists are bringing up racism, and the only thing they're doing is creating more hate. Yeah, Moonlight, I agree. But they're doing it because it makes money. It makes money. I mean, did you not hear what Insomniac said? People turned around and said that the amount of time and effort they put into Mary Jane's sections of the game actually made the game worse and took away from the experience of the Spider-Man game. And they turned around and said, we don't care. They don't care that it made the game worse. They just put it in there because they wanted to include diversity. But when the game went to Saudi Arabia, they took all of that shit straight out. They cared big time because over in the Middle East, that game wasn't going to sell a single copy. So they made sure that their morals weren't on top of profits. They made sure that profits, were above everything. I know Leaf Storm. But if you, as a company, are so outright, adamant about your moral structure, your moral standing, and you care that much for diversity, equality, and inclusion, you stand your ground and don't release it in Saudi Arabia. By you removing everything DEI from the game and releasing it in Saudi Arabia, all that tells me is you're only doing it for money. Because in the West, it sells. In the Middle East, it doesn't sell. So you release a version of the game in Middle East that sells, and a version in the West that doesn't sell. So if the West actually rejected DEI as a whole and boycotted the game, they would re-release the game with all of that content removed. That is what it's telling me. That then tells me, as a, cascading effect, that they literally do not care. All they care about is money. And if they can monetize DEI and exploit people to make them buy their game, that is exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. Imagine not caring about money. Hey, I bet Elon doesn't really... Well, actually, he probably still does care about money. He lost so much money on Twitter. No. I'm not saying give him a choice. I just said if they released the same Middle Eastern version here in the West, you're telling me the game wouldn't have sold? But it sells more now. It's all about money. I agree, Susanna. I agree. There you go. That's what I mean, Leafstorm. It's all hypocrite. You either agree with it or you don't. Back when I worked in the games industry, I committed suicide career. Right? I was asked to sign off on a game that I knew personally was not ready for release. And we had people flying in from other parts of the country to sign it off because everyone had to agree that this broken game, which I'm not going to name, had to be released. Otherwise, it would cost the company 3 million euros. So everyone came down, and as the project lead, I had to be there in order to sign it. I felt so strongly against this game being released that when my time and my shift ended, because my shift ended and the actual signing time was at 2 hours after I finished, I actually left and went home because I disagreed with it. The game was not ready. It was at least another 4 weeks away from being ready. It just needed so much more work. And, I went home and they got someone else, I was the project lead. They got the assistant project lead to sign in my place. So his name was put down. And, yeah. When I came in the next day, they asked me why I left. I told them why I left. I didn't, I was not going to sign a document I didn't believe in. The game was broken. And, yeah, it was all downhill from there. Leaf Storm, you know where I've been working. I'm not going to say that. That narrows it down real quick. Oh, yeah, sorry, I meant if consumers got offered the woke version or the Middle East version, 99% would choose the Middle East version here in the West. Yeah. Well, I think you'll find it's a little less than that, maybe 98%, but you're not far off. But man, it's a crazy, crazy time we live in when IGN decides that now's the time to get involved in this rubbish, right? It's a crazy, crazy time when IGN thinks that this is a good statement. A game they gave 9 out of 10. Back in 2009, they gave this game a 9 out of 10. And it wasn't any issue at all. But today, it seems to be a problem. How's it going, Jakob? My birthday was great, but I haven't gotten my Fallout Xbox Design Lab controller yet. Oh, no. Hopefully you'll get it soon, though, my dude. Alpha, yes, you can. For how bad racism is, I have to teach my kids to have tough skin and how to defend themselves. Dude, I actually went into... I mean, when you watch my video, I'm not going to get into it here on the stream because my blood boils when I talk about it. But in my video, I talk a little bit about the things that we endure here in the UK on a regular basis that people just don't understand. And it's not nice. And though I've grown thick skin to it, my kids haven't. They're still young. And when they get called things that's part of their ethnicity, they get really upset and they ask me, why is this happening? Why won't they just leave us alone? And I have to explain to them. I have to explain to a 9-year-old why a grown man is being racist to him. And that's not a conversation anyone wants to have with their kid at the age of 9. But that's just the world we live in. It's not a good world, but I'm still not going to do what this is doing. This is just stupid. I'm saying that this is dumb as an ethnic minority. Man, do you know what? If Microsoft cared about their games as much as they do about their controllers in terms of promotion and marketing, their games would be everywhere right now. I wish they marketed their games the way they do those controllers. They're crazy. There's like a new controller every day. Who knows, Leaf? Who knows? Been using the PS4 controller for my PS5 for my PC. I switch between the PS5 and the Xbox. I mainly use the Xbox, unless I'm playing the PlayStation game on my PC. Then I switch to the DualSense. You got on that about controllers today. Exactly. Did you get the Power Rangers one? Because that one's kind of cool. I like that advert. It was well edited. The Fallout controller looks really nice. I kind of want it, but I've got too many controllers. I don't know what to do with them. If I buy one, it's just literally going to be a thing. Just sitting there as a... Well, if I move in, when I move into my new place, if there's actually any room on the back wall, I might buy one and just keep it as a showpiece. There is a Fallout controller. Let's see. Off script a little. That's the controller. Go away. So you got the Xbox, you got this one and this one, but design yours. I love my Starfield controller. The Starfield controller is so good. I mean, then again, I love almost everything that Starfield designed. I actually wanted to get this mic in Starfield designed, but the difference was like £80, and I was like, I really like Starfield design, but I'm not going to pay for that. That's where I draw the line. So this is the first one that they've done of this kind, and apparently every single one of these is from a Fallout game or a Bethesda, from a different Fallout game, and from a different part of the menu attribute. So every single one of these are unique. So that's kind of cool. 1, 2. It looks really nice. Nope, we're going to go with that. So that's the color. So you can change the back if you want to black or red. I like red. Then you're looking at the rubberized grips. I think rubberized grips are cool. You don't want the side because it's going to lose that. Then we go to the bumpers if you want to change those. But that's kind of blue and it kind of ruined the effect. So maybe if we go back here and change it to a blue color to keep it in sync rather than not the gray. So you've got this blue, I think, but they're going with a metal shiny one, which is kind of fine. Or you can go with the metallic one instead of the thing. Then you got a D-pad. Might want to give it like a nice blue, but they've gone golden. Maybe give it a nice little shiny blue to keep it consistent. The buttons, that's the one that they've gone with. That doesn't look nice. That doesn't look nice. That doesn't look nice. That's the original Xbox. So I think that one actually looks the best. Well, this one looks most in sync with the controller, so that one probably better. You got the... Nah, you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that. So it'd kind of be between these two. I think this one's better. It just stands out a little more. And then if you want to, you can personally engrave it as well. And put down your gamer tag. See, it just pops up there. And so this controller comes to $89. You can change the thumbsticks as well if you want. Make it like a complete blue. It was gold for Vault Boy's hair, yeah. But you can make it like that. Instead of the grey, have it blue and golden. You can. You can. If we go back, leave, design yours. So this is the Elite 2. It's not in the thing color, but you know, you can change it to... Look, I like red, okay? Don't judge me. So that's... I'll keep that. We can go with... No, that's not looking good. Keep that black. Keep that black and red tone going. You can go with that as well if you want. The thumbsticks we can keep the same. You can have the bases changed a little bit, so you can have it like a grayish color, which I think looks better. Buttons, you can have more customization if you want. But yeah. Yes, you can. So you can have a Leaf Storm Blaze. There you go. And it's your own personal controller. Now this one over here is £132 because it's the Elite 2. You can add accessories, the pedals. You can make them white if you want, or black, whatever color you want really. You can have all of these, so you can just add them in there. And that's it. Carrying case, charging dock. That's it. Like, it's really nice. If you get the full Elite package, you save money. So, you get it for £182. It includes the charger and the cable, everything. These work on PC too. Now, I am not sponsored by Microsoft. Before anyone starts thinking I am. You guys asked for the labs. I'm just showing it to you. There's no sponsorship here before I get tagged and screwed over by YouTube. Also, there's this designed by you, right? If you didn't know, come on, go. If you design a controller and people buy your design, you get a little bit of a commission for it. I don't know how much it is. You'll have to look that up. But if you design a controller, give it a name, and people like it and buy that design, you get a small commission for it. Mate, Benaya, the amount of times I talk about GeForce Now, and I'm guessing they're not sponsoring me because I speak so highly of it. But yeah, so this is kind of cool as well. You get like a little bit of a commission as well. Because I remember back a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, we actually did a promotional website for them and created all this for them. Quit free advertising. Alright, moving on to what do I mean by commission? So you basically create a controller, the design. If I come along and I buy that specific design, so let's say you called it Jakob's Elite Controller, and then I bought Jakob's Elite Controller, that specific design, Microsoft would pay you a small commission from the money paid. But I don't know how much it is. I've never really looked into it. So, 4 out of 6 major Japanese video game developers see decline in profits. The leading causes seem to be underperformance of new releases, losses from cancelled projects. We have Namco Bandai Namco, Sega, Konami, Capcom, Koei Tecmo, and Square Enix. Designing a million controllers? You can only say free, Snowy. You can only say free. I haven't looked in the article yet, actually. Does it actually say? The analysis is based on financial results published by the Bandai for the first 3 quarters of fiscal year 2023, April to December, Bandai Namco saw their operating income from digital business sector fall by 96.5% to 1.6 billion yen. Jeez! Bandai Namco saw their operating income from their digital business sector fall by 96.5%. Woo-hoo! Experiencing a dramatic decrease in profit. This is partially a reactionary drop caused by the hit past title Elden Ring, but it also the result of new online game falling short of expectations. Furthermore, the company reported that the cancellation of more than 5 new titles and other factors led to a loss of 21 billion yen. Sega Sammy posted a 58% decline in operating income from their entertainment sector, despite a boost in sales coming from the acquisition of Rovio. Isn't that the Angry Birds? Not Angry Birds. Is it the Angry Birds? I can't remember. It's the one, the flying birds with the pigs. I can't remember the name now. The company's new titles underperformed and were unable to make up for the decline in sales of existing titles. Sega has also decided to cancel the development of Hyenas and other unannounced titles. All right, chat. What game is it? It's you got a slingshot. You pull the birds back. It flies, and you got pigs on a building. Is it Angry Bird? Oh, it is Angry Bird. Okay, so I was right. Arthur, can you send me a link to that on Discord? Just send me a DM. I didn't manage to find anything on it. Ultra Annoyed Birds. I like that better, Snowy. Birds who are angry. Koei Tecmo saw operating income from their entertainment sector fall by 10.6% to 20 billion yen. Despite the release of Fate Samurai Remnant, their earnings were mainly driven by sales of past titles and mobile games. On the other hand, Koei Tecmo declared that they would be focusing on major titles, and they have Rise of the Ronin's launch slated for March 22nd, which is expected to influence profits, and they're about to get in for a rude awakening. I do not like the way that game looks. It looks so mid. Square Enix likewise reported a drop in income, seeing a 20% decline in profits from their digital entertainment sector. Sales were boosted by the release of bigger titles such as Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Series, which I still cannot believe is not released on a Xbox. How can you not release the Pixel Remasters? That just doesn't make sense to me. Like, surely the port of that can't be difficult, right? Surely the port of NES games cannot be difficult. Dragon Quest Monsters didn't do well, but MMO and mobile game related sales dropped in comparison to the previous year. Well, that's because Yoshi P decided to focus on Final Fantasy 16 instead of Final Fantasy 14. And Final Fantasy 14 suffered greatly for it. People just stopped subscribing. While advertising and development costs were more pronounced. The Analysis Game Biz also reports that the big guns were not the only ones affected. Other Japanese video game focused companies such as Marvelous and Nippon Ichi Software also saw losses. On a bright side though, Capcom saw their game sector's profits grow by 37% to 47.3 billion yen. The biggest contributors to these figures were Street Fighter 6, which sold 2.98 million units. You know, we're talking Final Fantasy 16 was bad, releasing on one console, and it had over 3 million sales. But Street Fighter 6 sold less than 3 million, and it released everywhere. In contrast, 3 million isn't that bad on a one platform, right? And sales of existing Monster Hunter titles, stimulated by the announcement of Monster Hunter Wilds, Sales of the Resident Evil 4 also grew, and the company is getting ready to release the highly anticipated 20 FPS Dragon's Dogma 2 in the fourth quarter. Everyone's looking forward to that 20 FPS, right? Rabe, how's it going? Welcome back. So it wasn't all studios. Embracer just sold Saber. We spoke about Saber. It's not that they sold Saber. Saber wanted out because they wanted to continue work. They wanted independence. And good on them. They got it. And now they're making KOTOR. They're back on development. And they're not, from what I've heard, they're no longer restricted by the exclusivity of Sony. Because that was with Embracer. So, Microsoft can just go in now and get that exclusivity deal. It's right there for the taking. It's right there. Third party. It's right there. Lee Storm, you're hyped for 20 FPS? Good. I like to see it. Hey, Rabbi, I'm doing well, thanks. I'm in a much more cheerful mood now that I'm with all of these amazing people online. Painting over food time. What did I miss? Not much, Quackers. We're just going through the Resident Evil stuff. And now we're at companies doing pretty poorly and some doing well. Konami Group Corporation reportedly saw profits of their digital entertainment sector soar by 49% to 55.9 billion. Konami. The company successfully launched the Japan exclusive Momotaro Dentetsu World Chikyu wa Kibo de Mawateru. What the hell is that? I'm scared to look at it, actually. Probably some kind of either pachinko or porn game. And Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, while their mainstay titles such as eFootball 2024 and Professional Baseball Spirits remain strong. Really? eFootball is actually doing well? With the exception of Capcom and Konami, Japanese companies have seen their video game sectors diminish in profit in the past year, with the main causes being underperformance of new titles and losses due to cancelled projects. The past year has seen the video game market in Japan normalize, with demand coming down from the high it reached during COVID crisis. There you go, boys. There you go. Right there. Remember, I've been saying this all along. This is where it's at. The past year has seen the video game market in Japan normalize, with demand coming down from high it reached during the COVID crisis. Because during COVID, everyone and their grandma was playing video games. Hell, if Oreo was around during COVID, I bet he'd be playing video games too. This background, combined with the worldwide economic conditions worsening, could be the contributing factors to what developers are experiencing. It doesn't say anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, but I guess not. What is this Momotaro Dentetsu World Chikyu wa Kibo de Mawateru? eFootball from Konami is a disaster. I haven't played it. I only saw what it was when they first released it, and that was horrible. I always preferred Pro Evolution Soccer to FIFA, but that was bad. I train everyone in my family devastated to play video games. I'm creating my own farming family. Rabu, Star Wars Battlefront Classic is disaster. Bugs broken. They're not gonna get refunds. I mean, on Steam they will, but they won't get it anywhere else. Star Wars is pretty horrendous. I was actually gonna talk about that in a bit. Let me just finish this topic here, and then we can move over to Star Wars first. But yeah, if you're looking at the Final Fantasy games, since X has experienced the same thing, Final Fantasy 13 units sold in first week was 1.5 million. These are physical, by the way. Second week, 188,000. It saw an 87% drop. Final Fantasy 15 was 690,000. Second week, 80,000. Saw an 88% drop. Final Fantasy 16 saw a 336,000 first week. Damn. Went down to 37,000 at 88% drop. So you can see the drops for the second week are pretty in line. 7 remakes sold 702,000, almost 703. Physical, by the way, not digital. It dropped by 90%. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did a measly 262,000 physical copies, dropping down to 24,000, not even breaking 300,000 in 2 weeks, with a 90% decline. I mean, we can all see, like, second week, they've all had similar drops in purchases for the physical renditions. But I'm wondering if this is because of people buying more digital because it's on 2 discs rather than it being really, really this bad. 7 still did 702,000 week 1, and I think overall it did like 5, 6, 7 million. So it did quite well. Alright, let's bring the Star Wars one in. But yeah, that's going to be worrisome for Square Enix if that's all it did, because obviously we don't. This is just Japan, I think, or is this worldwide? I don't know. I don't know if this is Japan. I think this is Japan only. But that's still bad, right? That is still bad for Japan, which is probably their biggest market when it comes to Final Fantasy. Only, a quarter of a million sold is not good. Hey Jacob, take it easy. I've heard Japanese sales numbers are seen different from US. In Japan, 3 million sales is a success. Yeah, I mean, well, Square Enix said 3 million was bad to them. So, not always. But take it easy, Jacob. Thank you so much for stopping by. Xbox Quackers, have a good one, my dude. Enjoy your food. But guys, I want to know something, right? Could someone in chat please explain this to me? Right? Because I'm a little confused. So maybe one of you really intelligent people that are smarter than me can tell me, or maybe come onto the air, if you want to come onto the air, and tell me why this is a problem. And why it's getting bashed for it on Steam. PS fans buy more physical copies than digital from what I heard. You've heard wrong, Sanchez. You're only hearing the physical minority. I think physical on PlayStation equated to something like 15% overall. 15-20%. 80 to 85% was digital. Okay, Benaya, I guess you don't know the story, so I will tell you the story. On launch day, 1,000 people bought the game for $30, the same price as Helldivers. They tried to log in, and they couldn't log in. They couldn't log in because the developers, Aspia, decided that they would open 3 servers for the whole game on launch day, and each server holds 64 people. Which meant outside of like 200 people, the other 9,800 people who bought the game can't play it. I mean, granted, right? Granted, this isn't Helldivers' 300,000 server capacity. This is 200 people max capacity, which is like, I'm like, wow, like really. But this game is being panned to the ground right now and shat on because people can't log in, and it is being review bombed hard. So my question is, why is it a problem for this game that you can't log in, but it's not a problem for Helldivers? I mean, they should have more servers, I agree. But when you boil it down, the conditions are the same. One game you can't log in, the other game you can't log in. One game you can't log in, everyone is cheering and saying, yes, baby, we can't log in. Get in there, my son. We can't log in. Let's play that login bonus game. Let's sit and watch that login screen for 2 hours until we can get logged in. Yeah, baby. And then for this one, they're like, fuck this game, I'm getting a refund. So, what's the difference here? You think that's it, Devastator? IGN are funded by Sony advertising dollars. I mean, they expected 200 people to play the game, so it exceeded their expectation, right, Benaya? They didn't expect more than 200 people to buy the game day one. So technically, it exceeded their expectations. I mean, it's exactly the same situation. Because Helldivers is PlayStation. I mean, I remember people championing, outside of a few, actually really complaining. You know, Nib was actually asking, you know, credit to Nim where credit's due. He was actually asking Arrowhead and Sony to take the game offline. Not offline, off sale, like Yoshi P did with Final Fantasy XIV. Does anyone remember the situation with Final Fantasy XIV? When, was it Endwalker or the one before that? Does anyone remember the story that it was crazy? No game has ever done that I've known. Susano, you don't ever do that. Ever. Seriously, don't ever do that. And this goes to anyone. Never, ever do a chargeback on your account. Even if you're not at fault. Do not do it. The moment you do a chargeback on your account gets banned. That's simple. And you lose everything. It's not worth it. You will lose your account. Don't do chargebacks. I've seen so many people lose their accounts because of a chargeback. It ain't worth it. No problems here. Happily enjoying the game. See, Benaya? Happily enjoying the game. He is one of 200 people enjoying it. Why do the games end as soon as they start? I was so disappointed I refunded it after 70 minutes. In that time I had 2 crashes, had a time where it wouldn't let me spawn, and was able to walk through certain walls. It's a mess right now. That's because the servers are getting hammered, buddy. But yeah. My best guess is because Helldivers 2 is a rare multiplayer. Look, Helldivers 2 in multiplayer is a really good game. I know a lot of people want to dunk on it, and a lot of people want to shit on it because it's a PlayStation game. And as a single player game, that game is hot garbage. And I will stand by that till the day I no longer care about video games. But in multiplayer, it's fun. In multiplayer, it's fun. And that's what matters. Because the game is designed as a multiplayer. Like, let me give you an example. A good example, right? Anyone here heard of a game called Ridge Racer? It's a really old game that they don't make anymore, and I really don't like Namco for not making it anymore. Ridge Racer was such a cool game. Would you play Ridge Racer expecting a real-life sim situation? Like a proper Forza or Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo experience? You would not. You would not expect that because of just how the physics of that game is. Literally, your car would be driving like this, and as you're skidding around the corner, your car's looking this way and swerving around this way. It's the most unrealistic video game as a racer you can get. Well, I guess close to V-Rally, because that game allows you to flip your car somersaulting all the way across the finishing line. But that was a PS1 game, so physics back then didn't exist. But, yeah, shout out to V-Rally, right? That was great back in the day. No physics at all. You touched that wall, and your car just went flying in 7 different directions, ping-ponging across the walls. We've come a long way in that time. But you wouldn't expect that from Ridge Racer. So, playing Helldivers, don't expect a good game for single player. You're not going to get it. It's just not designed for that. Play the game the way it's designed. And if you don't have friends, don't buy it. Mysterious. So wait, did Sweet Baby Inc. actually have anything to do with GTA 6? Because it's all speculation at the moment. Wipeout is still one of my favorite races. Wipeout is good. Wipeout is real good. Dirt is my favorite racing game. Physics, so true. It's brutal. I wonder if we can... yeah, V-Rally was good for that. But Ridge Racer... so good. Like, I remember I actually imported my PSP with Ridge Racer. I couldn't put that game down until I 100%ed it. I did like Ridge Racer 5 on the PS2. That was good. Type R was weird though, right? Type R was weird. GTA 6 isn't a racing game. But yeah, so Battlefront is having major issues right now. And it is not doing well. It is not doing well. And it's a massive disaster for EA, who are not very happy with it. I mean... honestly, why not just play Battlefront 2? Like, seriously. What's the need for this? I don't get it. Like, what is the actual need for this game when Battlefront 2 exists? And Battlefront 2 is a good game, right? They fixed it. I don't... it's still... I mean, they're not doing no more content for it. But... I don't know. I don't actually know. Let's have a look, right? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, boys, they are angry. But let's look at Steam charts. Let's look at Steam charts. Is it going to be on Steam charts? Is even Battlefront 2 on Steam chart on Steam? Or is it Origin only? Hey, it's got more players than Battlefront Collections. And it's got more they've got more players at least. It's got over 1,000 more players playing. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is down. I mean, at $4.79, that's not a bad pickup. It should be free on Game Pass as well, so you probably don't need it. Via EA Play. But yeah, man. I'd like you to see this on YouTube. He will explain Dr. Disaster GTA 6. I'll just copy that. And we can have a look at it after. Let's see that game again. I'm not playing that again. I mean, there's just no need for it, right? I just don't see the purpose for it. Like, there's some games that's just not worth re-releasing. Like, why would I play this over GoldenEye? GoldenEye looks better than this, and that's an N64 game. And it's probably more fun too. Right? It's probably more fun too. Hey, chat. You let me down, man. Why aren't people subscribing? There's 66 people in here. You should be subscribing. And make sure to hit that like button. Do it. Do it. Hit that like button. Only 36 likes? You could do better than that. We are subscribed. I'm joking. Make another account, Sally. I believe in you. But it's like... Guys, I'm only just messing with the sub stuff. I know some people are going to take that personal. Don't. Let's fix the audio. Get some music back in there. But yeah. Alright, let's have a listen to this. Let's have a listen to this. I thought you said Game Pass, no game. What do you mean? Let's stop this. All right.
About Microsoft buying Activision and what that could mean for exclusives, what that could mean for cloud streaming. At the same time, Sony has done very similar things, buying studios to make them exclusive or making exclusive deals with companies like Square. In your view, why was the Activision deal wrong or bad for the industry?
Yeah, the reason that we felt this one was different to anything that had happened in the past was the sheer size and importance of the Call of Duty franchise. So we were absolutely thrilled to be able to negotiate a deal with Microsoft to ensure that that franchise remains available on PlayStation platforms for the next 10 years. And that was very important to us, and we're very happy to have done that deal.
But the timeline is a little different though, right? Because...
So I'm a little confused about that, right?
Deal.
I'm a little confused about that because the contract says 10 years, but Phil Spencer in court, under oath, said as long as there's a PlayStation, there will be a Call of Duty. Now, obviously, he didn't say there will be a new Call of Duty. He just said there will be a Call of Duty. So he could easily spin that after 10 years and say, right, you've got Modern Warfare 3. Be happy, buddy. That's the last one you're getting. But you've still got a Call of Duty. But I don't think he's going to do that, personally. So, is it an indefinite thing as long as PlayStation exists? Or is it for 10 years? Diablo, they already done the maths internally to work out how many, if they made it exclusive, how many subs they would need for Game Pass to make the money that they make off PlayStation. Do you know what that number is? But I don't actually understand that very much. 2 million. The number is 2 million. They worked out that the money coming from PlayStation for Call of Duty would be equal to 2 million game subs. So if they could steal 2 million consumers from PlayStation by making it exclusive, which, let's face it, will be very easy to do for those people that only play Call of Duty, they would probably get 4 or 5 million subs, if anything. That would bankroll them and make enough money to cancel out PlayStation in its entirety, and they wouldn't need them. That's a lot of subscriptions, yes, but for those people that only want to buy Call of Duty, even if they weren't prepared to pay for the Game Pass sub, those people that have built their channels on Call of Duty, those people that literally just buy a console only for Call of Duty, the next console that came out, even if they had a PS5 now, they'd buy they'd buy the next Xbox just to play Call of Duty. That's just the way it works, and so they'd make their money that way. They'd make even more revenue. So it could work, and they could make that money back. Between a mixture of sales on Xbox and subscriptions, they could easily do that money. So I don't think it's as big of a stretch as people think it is. But I don't know if it will happen. It's my issue is what Phil said in court. What he said in court under oath, because Judge Jacqueline said, "Can you say that? Can you repeat that under oath?" And he said, "Yes, under oath. I'm saying as long as there's a PlayStation, there will be Call of Duty." But he picked his words carefully. He didn't say there will be a new Call of Duty or the latest Call of Duty. He just said there will be Call of Duty. You know what, Diablo? I actually want to talk about that in a little bit. Obviously, Digit, what Microsoft is looking at is in 10 years' time, everything they're hoping is going to go into cloud. Or in 15 years' time, everything's going to be run on the cloud, right? We're all going to be playing our PlayStations, our Xboxes, through our TVs, through our browsers, or everything's just going to be natively installed on PC. And the actual requirement for a console box will diminish to nothing. You know, that's the end game. But in that situation, if the consoles disappear in 15 years' time, then yeah, he was referring to PlayStation as a console. Because he said as long as there's a PlayStation console, it'll exist. But if it exists as a cloud platform, that changes because the cloud is going to be a different war altogether. And this is what Microsoft is building towards. So I find it interesting. Because the terminology and difference is quite stark. You've got Jim Ryan here saying that we are quite happy to have that contract for 10 years. So he's saying that this deal is for 10 years. But in court, it was indefinite. So it's a bit weird. Hey, look. I watched Back to the Future. I was devastated just like you was, Woodpit. I waited for that day to come. I waited in the year 2000. I looked out of my window. I didn't see flying cars. 2015, I looked out. I didn't see flying hoverboards or skateboards or flying cars. I was disappointed. I didn't even see a DeLorean fly past. I had my makeshift flux capacitor ready and everything. Nothing happened. I was so heartbroken. I mean, Jim Ryan said in court, right? They said, if you was in Microsoft's position right now, would you make Call of Duty exclusive? And he said no comment. And they said, you can't say no comment. You have to answer. And he said, I refuse to answer. That clearly tells you that if Sony had purchased Activision Blizzard, Call of Duty 100% would be exclusive to PlayStation. Without a shadow of doubt. And not the courts or the regulators would have raised an eyebrow. They would have said, yep, that's perfectly fine. That's A-okay. Ah, yes, the good old Y2K, where all electronics was supposed to malfunction, setting us back to the Stone Age in a nuclear hellfire. Hey, man, I remember I bought my... for those in the UK, we had a company that came up called Time. And so they called their PCs Time Machine, ready for the Y2K bug. It was great. I had one. People can't pay attention on asphalt. No way I would want to drive in the sky with people. We have robot arms and legs. That is true. So we are somewhat there, but we don't have a Biff or a crazy doc playing with plutonium. I should actually be very careful with what I say on YouTube regarding that. Technically, it's possible, but it's not profitable.
But the timeline is a little different, though, right? Because why didn't you agree to the deal when it was first offered? And instead, you were part of the case with the FTC, a key witness for the FTC.
Yeah, we're at risk of getting very granular here, but there are deals and deals. A deal that was offered at a certain point of time may not have been the deal that was actually signed.
So basically, I'm chatting a bunch of shit. I knew I was about to lose Call of Duty. I had no choice at that point to sign it. I thought I could block the deal because I don't care about any deal you have to make. I just want to block the deal. I don't care about any offers that you've got on the table. I just want to block the deal. So there was no situation where Jim wanted to sign that deal. But when he finally got to the end and he realized that he was screwed, he had no choice but to sign the deal.
Microsoft's Activision acquisition was by far the most expensive in industry history and more than double Microsoft's second largest acquisition of its 2016 purchase of LinkedIn.
I see the consolidation in the industry. I see people like Microsoft or Embracer or some groups out of Saudi Arabia buying up a bunch of studios. And I see consolidation to be the enemy of creativity.
So why doesn't he have a problem with Sony buying studios repeatedly? There's even rumors now that they are trying to buy Arrowhead, and Arrowhead is resisting. There's rumors that they've made an offer to Arrowhead, and Arrowhead have said no. So I don't know if that's true, by the way. It's just rumors that I've heard. But why is it that every company that works with Sony, they go and buy? So why doesn't Sean have a problem with that? Oh, we have mechs. Japan invented mechs. Oh yeah, we do. Sound like something a former Microsoft lawyer said yesterday. So I've heard rumors that Sony have been trying to buy Arrowhead. Now, Arrowhead CEO has denied it. Nothing of the sort. So it could just be, white noise in the air, people just making speculation for no point. But what I'm saying is, any company that Sony works with, they want to buy up. So what is that? Why is that different in consolidating? And it's the enemy of creativity. But when Microsoft does it, it is the enemy of creativity. So when Sony does it, it's really creative thinking, guys. This is so good for the industry. Like, let's go, boys. And when say someone like Nintendo and Microsoft do it, nah, that's not good for the industry, man. Like when Embracer do it, it's not good. If Sony does it, let's go, boys. They just bought Crystal Dynamics, they bought Square Enix. I love it. But if someone else does it, it's the enemy of creativity, man. I mean, does this guy realize how much of a moron he actually sounds like when he says this sort of thing? Like, I get they love to hear their own voice. I mean, I love to hear my own voice. But at the same time, if you're going to come out with a statement and you don't mention Sony's name, who have bought, over a dozen companies and made them first party and exclusive and prevented other other platforms from playing those games, and you're perfectly okay with that, how can you sit there and say that Consolidation is the enemy of creativity when the company you used to work for, who you won't badmouth after they fucked you over and kicked you out and screwed you over and John Cena'd you out the front door, is doing exactly the same thing? Now, I'm being quite fair. If he turned around and said that Sony also shouldn't be doing this, I'd say this guy is spot on. The guy is absolutely spot on. But he's saying it's okay for Sony to do it, but not okay for anyone else to do it. And you can tell that by his omission of the word Sony.
If we've commoditized the product, you're just going to get more of the same.
You're going to get more of the same, which is exactly what you're getting with Sony right now. Everything is over the shoulder. Sad dad walking simulator. Yeah, he was lit out by security. My dude was John Cena straight out. Of course. I mean, they probably do. They're just told that you can only ask certain questions, right? So the way it works is, you make a list of questions that you can ask them, and then you give it to the PR team. The PR team goes through that and goes, nope, can't ask that, can't ask that, can't ask that, can't ask that. Oh, you can ask this one question. Yeah, the rest you can't ask. And that's how it works. Oh yeah, Sony has been so creative. Over-the-shoulder, third-person shooters with stealth elements, usually with a sad story attached. Did I miss anything? Pretty much. Pretty much. But hey, I'm still a fan of Telu. Now, I know you guys don't like it, and that's okay. That's okay. But I'm a fan of Telu. I'm a fan of its... I love post-apocalyptic settings. Space, like sci-fi space, I love. And post-apocalypse eras, I love. The whole... Seeing, like, run-down cities and broken-down environments and, what life looks like in like a catastrophe where the world has kind of come to an end. I love that sort of setting in either movies or games. Those are like my favorites. So if you have any recommendations for games like that, send them my way, because I'd definitely be interested in playing them. I think Tilu's a better game. Uncharted is all about padding the climbing and puzzles. I'm not going to buy a Black Panther. Waiting on Blade. I mean, did you see what that woman said from Validate? That was crazy, right? She goes, "We are a team of 21 strong," and she is an ex Sweet Baby Inc. Employee. We are a 21 employee strong. I own white people are not employed in our company, and we will not accept white people to be employed in our company. We only employ people like us, of our color, because white people are hard to work with. I was like, you what? And then she's like, oh, but I'm not racist. Who said that? I'll find it for you. Let's finish this.
Throughout its time in the gaming industry, Sony itself has also acquired more than a dozen game development studios, and many of these studios have gone on to produce some of its biggest hits. Insomniac Games was behind the PlayStation 5's record-breaking success with Spider-Man 2 in 2023.
I think I actually posted about it. Oh, that looks beautiful. Here you go.
I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment, and
she wanted to create. She didn't want any white people in her team because she wanted to create a safe environment.
I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something may be okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love. I have a team of 21 right now for
That's crazy, right? This is Danny Lalandas, a non-binary game developer. She was hired by Cliffhanger Devs to create a game based on Marvel's Black Panther. She says she doesn't hire white people because they're unsafe and it's hard to work with them, and only hires people of color. Isn't Cliffhanger from EA? I mean, essentially, isn't this EA promoting racism? I mean, if I was EA, I'd fire her on the spot for making this comment. No one wants that on their bloody thing. And I usually don't want people to lose their jobs, but she needs to lose her job for that statement. That's offensive. That's offensive on a whole new level. Oh yeah, it should blow up. This is crazy, right? Yeah, this is I mean, look, showed this clip to my son who is 17, and his response was, this was the one that I brought on the show the other day, right? How does she still have a job? If I said that, I'd be fired the same day. That was literally my son's words. How does she still have a job? If I said that, I'd be fired the same day. It's crazy. This is crazy. It's all ESG, yeah. It's all ESG. That rating needs to go away. Diablo, you're right. You're right. And that's why anyone watching my video that I've published while we were live streaming, if you are going to watch it, I get really heated about some shit. So go in there pre-warned. Just don't unsubscribe. Make sure to drop a like and move on. Dude, I showed this to a friend of mine who's gay, right? I showed this to a friend of mine who is gay. And they turn around and tell me it is people like this that make them ashamed of being a part of the LGBTQ community. It makes them feel ashamed to be a part of a diverse culture. They have people going against them. These people think that they are correct. They're a cult. Dude, I have so many, people of color friends, right? I mean, I don't even know how to refer to them anymore because it's different in America. It's different in the UK. Like, I don't even know how to refer to anyone anymore because the moment you say something, it's construed as being offensive. But I don't care about people's skin color. Just be a good person, and that's all I care about. That's it. If you're an arsehole, your skin color doesn't matter. Just look at Red Dragon. He's an asshole. He ain't English. He can still be an asshole. Or you works. So, people are still wanting Star Ocean, among other games, to be released on Xbox. Now, speaking to someone that I know at Square Enix, they're not like in the business side, but they're more in the like frontline dev QA side. Essentially, it came down to Square Enix not believing enough copies would be sold for the game because of the market size. And so they need a sweet little pot from Microsoft. So this is why I was selling like console sales right now at the moment is important. Everyone enjoy the journey, not only a handful. But this is a good game. If you can play it, I recommend it. It's available on PC as well. But do you think people doing this sort of thing is helping anything? I mean, it shows that people are interested, but when you've got like 29 likes and only like, 95 likes now, do you think it sends the message to the publishers? But it has a higher chance to sell Devastator. That's the problem. I'm actually quite interested if we could get numbers to see how many people actually played Persona 3 Reload. This isn't Final Fantasy, this is Star Ocean. Final Fantasy won't die. As long as they're selling 3-4 million copies, they're happy. Made me. Look, Persona is a good game. How can you not like Persona? Might not be for everyone, mind you, but. Alright, so who wants to help me out here? That is a really nice looking Xbox. And I really, really want that Xbox. So who's going to enter this competition, win it, and send it my way? Hey, Paris, how's it going, buddy? How's it going, dude? I saw your Fallout controller video. Looking nice and dandy. Go have someone paint your Xbox. Oh. How do you enter? Entering is quite simple. I'll post the link in Discord. You've just got to follow the official 14 Xbox, post down here, and then quote, tweet, and retweet with sweepstakes. Just do everything because they say retweet and it never makes any sense. Hey, Paris, I need to get you back on here sometime. When you're free. Got lots to discuss. I'd love to pick your brain. This is not a Microsoft Rewards thing. This is a launch. So, yeah, I'll definitely do that, dude. Definitely do that. We can set something up. But it's your chance to win a custom Final Fantasy XIV Xbox console, complete with Collector's Edition game and 12-month Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership. I mean, that just looks absolutely beautiful. That looks so, so nice. Look, the vinyl is not going to do this whole thing that it sits on, right? Which may overheat it, maybe, but I don't care. It's totally worth it. I saw this and I was like, man, I wish they sold this. I would buy it. I would. I would spend a lot of money on this. If they actually sold this, I would spend money on this. I can print it. What, this thing here? I mean, if you can print it, send it my way. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't use it to play games. No. This is literally a collector's item. The June Series S one was really nice as well. But I really like the Halo one as well. I really like the Halo one. My cats would tear it apart. Oh yeah, they'll be chewing off these little bits. That's why you do what Cesano said. You get a glass case. You get a glass case. No, that's the actual... This is a mold. The gold bits are a mold. And that is the actual console. It's built in this way. It's not a vinyl sticker around it. It's a console in itself. I mean, to be fair, that's pretty much what it's going to be. It's going to be this going all the way around. But yeah, I think this absolutely looks banger. Paris, if you get this, you send it to me, yeah? I know you got hookups with this sort of shit. You remember me, right, Paris? I'll pay for shipping. I'll try any avenue. I really, really like this console. We're buddies, right? But it has to look like that when it comes out the box. I mean, that's the aim. Again, here's the link to the actual giveaway. Good luck, guys, if you get it and you win. If someone from here wins it, that'll be great. Right, so we have a... For those of you that are Elden Ring fans, I saw this. It's not gaming news, but the official art book Volume 2 is on sale at Amazon. So for those of you that are interested, I'll post a link to that as well, as some of you might be interested in art books. I thought it was a really good takeaway. Oh, you can always sign up to it, Halt, just for the giveaway. And then delete your account if you lose or win. But yeah, it's been a interesting ride, to say the least. But the Star Wars Battlefront situation is not good, boys. It is not good. It is not good. I'm actually playing the game while watching it. 14? Yeah, 14 is really good, man. It's got a really good story after 2.0. 2.0, it gets good about 75% through. I'd say about 70% through, maybe. An Elden Ring. Wow. I suck at those games, like, royally. So, it's going to be interesting to see how I'm going to do when it comes to those games, because it's going to be interesting. But chat, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, there's a video for Harmon that's been sent my way. Harmon Barman. Not sure how people feel about him again. Oh wait, there was something that someone else mentioned in my chat, and I forgot the name of it. Nope, I forgot the name of what they told me to look at. So we've got two choices, because that's all the news that I have to talk about today. We can play some games if you guys want. We can put something on. Or we can watch a few, react to some videos. Oh, we actually have a release date. This is new. This is worth talking about. This is worth mentioning. Jeff Keighley's we have a date. So we knew it was in June. Tickets go on sale May the 7th. I wonder if Paris is going to attend this, like if he's going to be a host. But the Summer Games Fest is live June 7. Now here's my thing about this, right? If Microsoft is doing their own thing and not presenting, not hosting, but I'll be there as media, nice. Nice. But if Xbox is not going there, right? And Sony isn't going to be there. Nintendo isn't going to be there. EA isn't going to be there. Bethesda and Activision isn't going to be there. Who's turning up? Clearly people are going to pay Devastator, but my question is, who's going to be there? Because Microsoft does their own things, right? Sony does their own state of the play. Just Ubisoft? EA won't be there. EA does their own presentation. EA does their own thing now. Ubisoft hasn't started doing their own thing, I don't think. Or have they? Doesn't Ubisoft have their Ubisoft Connect days? Or is it still part of the Summer Games Fest presentation? I guess Nintendo Switch 2 could be announced. Well, it's coming next year, so maybe they'll show something here, but you'd think that Nintendo would save that for a Direct, right? They would do that in their own Direct rather than putting it on the Summer Game Fest. I mean, we might have another 20-minute Hideo Kojima spot, but is there anything else? So if Ubisoft have their own thing as well, is it just going to be Hideo Kojima coming on stage, doing his thing, and then, thanks folks, that's it, we're gone? Yeah, sure, Paris. Let me send you a link. Or is my link still with you? There you go. That should get you in. And then I will drag you into the channel once you're in call in for stream or something. Or lobby or something. I saw it, Devastator. Oh, there he is. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Just making sure your sound is coming through good. Do a sound test.
Sound test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so you're coming out twice. Let's disable that one. Okay, so chat, you should be able to hear Paris now. Okay.
How you doing?
I am doing good, Paris. How have you been, my friend?
No, I'm good. I got a few minutes before I have to jump into this meeting at the top of the hour. So yeah, I just happened to open a YouTube and I saw your channel, so I started listening.
Cool. So okay, chat, I've reduced his volume a little bit. So yeah, who's actually going to be here if everyone is doing their own thing?
I think it'll be very similar to last year. I have to be careful about what I say because obviously this isn't publicly announced yet, but
don't worry,
they're doing some. Wait, or is this? I don't know. Anyways, I'll just be general. I mean, I'm fine saying that I'm going, but I'm pretty sure it'll be very similar to last year, where Xbox actually did had a presence at Summer Game Fest. Ubisoft had a presence at Summer Game Fest. Obviously, a lot of indies are going to be a part of it as well. But things like Annapurna, Devolver Digital, those type of publishers, they'll have a presence there. I mean, if you remember the stage show that he had last year, Prince of Persia debuted on stage there. So I would assume it'll be similar. I do know it will be bigger than it was last year. Think about Alan Wake 2 was there last year as another example. CD Projekt Red had a presence there for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. So there'll be some bigger third-party titles there. Now, will Xbox have some major first-party title there? Doubtful. But think ID at Xbox, things like that. Wouldn't shock me if PlayStation had some kind of small presence as well. Potentially EA could, but yeah, Xbox is going to do their showcase, and they've not set a date or anything, but if it's like last year, then Xbox will do their showcase on, I guess that would be June the 9th, because that would be the Sunday. Yeah. Whereas Summer Game Fest, the YouTube theater, the stage show it's going to be that Friday the 7th. And then what's called Play Days is when the media gets to come in and have hands-on, do interviews, things like that. That'll be over that same weekend of the 8th, 9th, and I think the 10th is also, I think it's expanded to a third day. But yeah, I'll be there. I may or may not have gotten an invite, but yeah, I'll be there.
May or may not love the whole... But yeah, it's just like over the years, since E3 decided to go away, let's say.
Yeah.
And Microsoft decided that, hey, we're going to do our own thing, and everyone's doing their own thing. It just feels like, outside of a few companies making an appearance, the whole thing is starting to lose more and more relevance as each company is doing their own thing to save money.
Well, I would agree and disagree at the same time. You are correct. And it's funny, I'd been talking about this for years prior. Like, I want to say as soon as like 2018, I'm like, E3 is going to go away. My thing was, I said, the moment that PlayStation and Xbox leave E3, it's done. And then Xbox went across the street. They weren't even in the convention center anymore.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think it was 2019 PlayStation left, and they obviously never came back. I don't think it's still going to have relevance because what Jeff has smartly done is he's basically rounded everybody else up, and he's giving them a platform if they don't want to do their own digital showcase. Yes, Xbox will do their thing, PlayStation will do their thing, Ubisoft will still do their own thing, but they'll have a small presence at what Jeff is doing as well, because it's just eyeballs on titles that potentially would get lost in the shuffle at an Xbox showcase or potentially a PlayStation showcase. So you're going to still see relevant things, and Jeff obviously has his connections. I mean, think about it. Hell, he had Elden Ring when he first started doing this a few years ago. He got Elden Ring. Nobody else had that.
But Namco Bandai don't do their own thing, right?
Yeah, they don't do their own thing.
So that kind of made sense.
Yeah,
and we're going to have another expose with Hideo Kojima for 20 minutes or however long that's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, if Kojima has something to show outside of, I mean, hell, he could even do Death Stranding 2 there. I mean, that actually is probably a good example of something PlayStation could bring to Summer Game Fest with Kojima and just do Death Stranding 2 there. So that could happen. But yeah, if you're not tied specifically to Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, then you're going to show up on Jeff's stage. That's kind of how it is now. I mean, Devolver Digital still has a big enough presence to do their own thing, but even them, they're going to have certain things that would be there as well. Because when I think about it, last year, that's where I first got to see Alan Wake. I'm talking like behind closed door stuff. That's where I first got to see Alan Wake 2. That's where I first got hands-on with Cocoon. God,
such a good game.
Yeah, I want to be in one of my favorite games. I remember was that last year? The years blur, but Viewfinder was a game that I played at Summer Game Fest. The Sonic game was there. I played that at Summer Game Fest. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head other stuff.
I'm seeing a lot more benefits for the media than the actual consumer watching.
Well, that's what it is. It is for the media to come in and get hands on and do interviews and things like that. It is a less chaotic E3. Like I will fully admit, I personally prefer this over what E3 had become in like the final years, because once they let the public in, there was just way too many people in the convention center. The booths were just overproduced. You weren't really getting things done because you're wasting so much time going from point A to point B, fighting through crowds, and even then standing in lines, trying to make appointments, missing appointments and all that. Where the way Jeff is doing it now, it's it's definitely more intimate. And you get stuff done. Oh, Tekken 8 was something else that I got to see there. Armor Core. I knew there was things at the top of my head I wasn't remembering.
So when you getting me involved?
Say again. Well, hey,
when are you bringing me?
You gotta come out to LA.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
And I know you don't know the answer to this, but I'm just gauging your or you may do, but you may want to rethink about that once I've asked this question. So Xbox presentation this year, they're doing a big showcase. They've kind of started hyping it up already a little bit. Will the next Halo and Gears be present? Do you think it will be present? I know you can't give a definitive answer.
And I want to be crystal clear. I have no clue. So this is me guessing. Yes. I think there's a chance you could get Gear 6 teased kind of as the last thing, the one more thing. I'm going to doubt that we see the next Halo. I don't think we will.
I'm really wanting another Halo.
We're gonna get another one for sure. I don't know if you saw it or remember, but the day of the Game Awards, the day before the Game Awards, I interviewed Brian Gerard from 343. He came on, and it was so funny because we're talking about Firefight and all that, but he was pretty open about where they were headed, and he pretty much admitted, we're ramping up to work on the next Halo on that interview, and it was so funny because then was it the same night or the next day? It might have been the next day. I'm at the Game Awards, and I know someone that works at 343, and he came up to me and he was showing me his phone about all the dialogue that was going back and forth internally about everything that Brian talked about, which I thought was funny. I was like, I hope I didn't get anybody in trouble. He's like, no, you didn't get him in trouble. But Brian was just being upfront about, he was pretty clear about the struggles that Infinite had, where they currently are and where they're trying to go. So yeah, it wound up being a great combo.
They created it for the Xbox One, and that was that was their big mistake. I mean, they should have not designed it based on the Xbox One tech, and they should have. That was the biggest issue with Infinite, in my opinion, because they started on a losing foot the moment they started doing that. It should have been designed on the Series X straightforward.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but if you go back in time, if in a perfect world, if it worked out the way that it should have, I understand the decision to have it on Xbox One, Series X, S, and PC at launch, because number one, it's a live service game. You're trying to monetize it. But at that time, it was supposed to launch with the Series X. It was supposed to be out in November 2020. It was the poster child for the Series X. So you were trying to replicate the magic that you had back in 2001 when it also launched with the original Xbox, and you wanted as many people as possible being able to play that game. So yeah, you have it on the Xbox One because there's an installed player base on the Xbox One, and not everyone's going to be able to go buy a Series X or an S at launch because there would have been there would have been hardware shortages, because there always is. So I get the understanding of it, but then obviously it was delayed a year. We're in the middle of COVID at that point, and I think, unfortunately, in hindsight, even if in a perfect world, let's going by what you're saying, it was built specifically for Series X to take advantage of the X and the S. They didn't have any content ready to go. That was the problem. If they had content ready to go, I think Halo Infinite would have been fine, because the multiplayer launched in a great state. Everybody loved it. It was just after a month, we're like, okay, now what? There's no maps, there's no Forge.
Like the biggest game mode of all. Why would you not have Slayer in there? But I know you're really short for time. Chat just has 2 more things that they wanted to ask.
Sure, I got a few more minutes. Yeah, I just got to go.
And they asked your thoughts on whether it will appear. State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, Forza Horizon 6, and Fable.
Okay, there was a lot thrown at me. State of Decay 3, I think, is possible. I'm going to put it in the 90 percentile that we see Perfect Dark.
90%? Oh,
yeah. And I'm taking that from last year, because Matt Booty and Phil went to the Giant Bomb couch, and Matt Booty admitted that why am I blanking? The Initiative, I forget who the head of the studio is now, but the Initiative, they're like itching to want to show it. And it was because they already had so much stuff scheduled for last showcase. They're like, we're going to hold it and you can be ready for next showcase. So he pretty much confirmed that Perfect Dark, we're going to see it next year. I think the only way not next year, but this year, I think the only way we don't see Perfect Dark at this showcase is if they had a huge setback in development. But if it's progressing along and they're getting close to, let's say it's a 2025 launch, we'll see it. I think we will.
And the other
And
ones
what
I
were
didn't
they?
mention-
What,
So
yeah, what was the
State of
other one?
Decay, Perfect Dark, Forza Horizon 6, Fable, and my favorite, Everworld. So it's Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and Everworld.
I'm gonna say no on Horizon 6.
No.
I think they're gonna skip it because I think, and again, this is me guessing. I know nothing.
He knows
I think it
everything.
might be an all hands on deck kind of scenario for Fable because I think Fable's next year. So I do think you see Fable again. And then the other one was, I'm sorry, what was the other one?
Let's see. Fable, you've already answered, and Everworld.
Oh yeah.
I've-
Let's hope so.
I mean, I
Let's
heard
hope
it
so.
reset.
Yeah, they did a reboot on that game. I mean, it's still being worked on. I follow the creative director for it on Twitter. I see her posting all the time. So, yeah, I mean, it's still in development. They haven't canceled it or anything, but I'll give that one a 50-50. I think there's a 50-50 shot because if you're the next time you show it, you need to be showing it like, this is what this game is, because we still have no idea what it is. I have no idea. So tell me what this game is. And then and if you do show it, it'd be amazing if they could go holiday 2025 or 2026, whatever the case might be. But show some confidence that this game has a roadmap to completion and when we can expect it. So I'll say 50-50.
So for you, last question from me. What game are you most hoping will appear on the Xbox presentation and hope that it will release potentially sometime this year?
Okay, you said this year. So the game I want to see is Perfect Dark. That's the one. I want to see Perfect Dark. I do not think it'll be this year, though. I think what's coming this year we've already seen. So I don't think there's going to be anything, not anything major anyways,
No
that they would
surprises
show
then.
in June that's going to come out this year. The only thing I could think that they have not talked about that could come out this year is South of Midnight. I think that could, but even that I think is probably 2025. So I don't think there's really anything they're going to show us in June that we did not already see at that developer direct that'll come out this year.
And so for next year?
Perfect Dark, obviously. I think Fable has a shot. I think South of Midnight. I do not think Clockwork Revolution. I think that's probably 2026.
But Matt Booty did say that there was 10 games that he knows off his head coming this year.
We just talked about this on XCast, and let me see if I can try and remember what we said, because you also have to include when he says that
Call of
you have
Duty.
to also think, yeah, Call of Duty's one, but you also have to think third-party exclusives and expansions, right? So, Indiana Jones, Avowed, Hellblade 2, Aura, History Untold, Flight Sim 2024, Stalker 2, Call of Duty. Then, oh my God, I am blanking on, we just said this on XCast, and I'm already forgetting. We had the 10. I personally think Replaced could be one of them. Again,
that's
another
been
third party.
gone for ages, right?
Yeah. I've been anticipating that since 2021, but they were victims of what's happened in Ukraine. So let's just say that. So that's 8. God, there was 2 more that we were just talking about.
Clearly it's Final Fantasy 16, 17, and Final Fantasy 7 Remake, right?
I don't think. See, I'm not counting those because I'm saying things that are quote unquote third party exclusive to them.
I know.
God, I'm blanking on the other 2 we were saying. I think they were, because I don't think the Shattered Space Starfield. No, I don't think that.
That should be arriving this year. I mean, it was
I don't
supposed to
think
come
so.
out in March.
I will talking 2025. I think that's 2025 too.
What, you think it's been pushed out that far?
Yeah, I do.
Holy crap.
Hey, maybe I'm wrong. I've learned to overestimate when it comes to these release windows, so that's why I'm thinking that.
Further Free
there was
Immortals?
something else.
Chat saying
Towerborn. Someone said in the chat. Towerborn is the other one, so that's 9. And then
There's the 33 Immortals, Bonaya's saying.
yeah, 33 Immortals. Thank you. We didn't say that on XCast. We said something else, but 33 Immortals. I
You'll
was thinking
take
of
it.
that after the. No, I was thinking of it like after we recorded. I was like, oh yeah, 33 Immortals, because I got to play it last year at the showcase, and yeah, what we played was a lot of fun. I mean, it's literally Hades with 33 people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, I don't want to keep you any longer than you need to because I know you've got a meeting. But definitely, I will ping you sometime this week for any availability you have next week, and then we can actually have a proper sit down and talk about all the drama that's been going on. I'm sure the chat would love to hear your views on that stuff as well, and that's a bit more of a...
I can tell you one piece of drama that I am staying way out of.
Hellblade.
No, not that one.
Not that one?
That's nonsense. I think that one's nonsense.
Of course it's nonsense.
I think, no, all the sweet baby stuff, leave me out of this.
I'm not getting involved in that.
I am not touching that with a 20-foot pole. You know what? I will answer your Hellblade one because I do have a few more minutes if you'll have me.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll have you as long as you got...
It was funny because someone pulled a clip. I was on another podcast with a couple buddies of mine. I'd called in when I was at DICE, right before the DICE Awards. This was right after the business update. And I had said it then. I go, we got to stop with this insider stuff. I hear things all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't say anything because, again, you never know what... Just because it is being discussed does not mean it's going to actually happen.
100%.
And that's what I think with a lot of these things where people are talking about Starfield and Hellblade 2 and all this stuff. Honestly, at the C level, it would be irresponsible for them to not be talking about all these games. They should be talking about Halo, Gears, everything should be under consideration, and I'm pretty sure it is. Just like it should probably be under consideration if they were going to continue making hardware. Of course, because that's the responsible thing to do. But just like Phil told you in that business update, they have to make sure they protect the business of Xbox. You put Hellblade 2, the literal first game that we saw when they debuted the Series X, to finally come out and have this cloud hanging over that, oh yeah, we're just going to put it on PlayStation. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but there's no way in hell they're doing it in 2024 or probably even 2025.
But the question that people are going to ask now is, like, let's just say Xbox had their presentation in June, and it was the best presentation they've ever done. Let's just say they blew our socks off away. They showed Forza, they showed Gears, Halo, everything. It was like the best presentation you could possibly ever expect from Xbox. They showed you the handheld prototypes of the new console. Yeah, I'm talking going all out to wow their consumers. The first thing people are going to say is, when's it coming to PlayStation? How do they change that narrative? They've created that narrative now.
And that's where I think, and I agree on that actually, that's where I think Phil tried to get in front of that and say, hey, don't take this as a signal that basically the floodgates are opening. We're at a point now where, and he even said this when we had him on XCast last year, he basically said, don't believe anything I say. Let our actions speak for us. So unfortunately, this is the byproduct of all this hysteria and these leaks and I'm air quoting insiders throwing everything out there, and then just the back and forth of, I heard this was happening. Oh wait, now I'm hearing that it's not, and and people putting their own opinions into the rumors to give it more weight versus this is actually what I heard. Because go back and think when they were talking about Gears and all that going to PS5, it was like, I heard it's under consideration.
I know that was driving me crazy. Like, literally,
that is not,
you can say anything is under consideration. It means nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing. But no one has been able to say for 100% fact, Starfield is coming to PlayStation 5. Do I think it was under consideration? Yeah, just like Indiana Jones is probably under consideration, just like Blade probably didn't have the branding on it because they know it's so far out, and who the hell knows what they might wind up doing.
I honestly think they're going to rebrand.
Blade comes out.
I think that's why they're doing that. I think they're going to rebrand. By the time it comes out, I think they're going to rebrand, and they're going to rebrand Game Pass. They're going to rebrand potentially the Xbox console as well.
I don't think so, and we could definitely debate that on for a longer discussion. I will disagree with you on that. That I don't think it would be smart of them to rebrand at this point. Now, Could that potentially happen down the road? Who the frick knows? And see, that's the unfortunate part about all of this. I don't think anything's off the table, because if you forget what Phil was saying. Listen to Sean Layden. Listen to Jim Ryan. Listen to the current CEO of PlayStation. Listen to the CEO of Take-Two. Listen to the CEO of Ubisoft. Listen to the CEO of EA. They're all telling you the same thing. The industry has not grown. We are not generating enough revenue, and we got to pivot. They're all saying it.
Yeah.
The degree of how they pivot is going to vary on the company, but clearly Xbox is looking at PlayStation going, hey, we're going to put some select titles on there. They're already day one on PC. They're already doing cloud. They're already looking at mobile. PlayStation just told you, yeah, we're going to ramp up our PC presence. We're going to ramp up our cloud and mobile presence. Now, they're not going to put games on Xbox anytime soon. I'm not saying that. Third parties obviously already doing what they're doing. This is why people got mad at me a couple weeks ago when I said that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth should not be locked down to one platform.
I agree.
And what I said was, and I always love how, people were crazy on Twitter. No one clearly watched the entire episode, because what I said was, I understand that this is ironclad locked in. It's not changing. I hope moving forward we don't see this. And I also said that for the Xbox side. Again, Stalker 2, as an example, is a game that put it everywhere. Now, I understand there's reasonings. There's exceptions to the rule where a publisher comes in and helps an independent studio get the game out the door. So part of the agreement is, all right, we're going to have a window of exclusivity.
Well, that
I
wasn't even the case
understand.
for Stalker 2. Stalker devs basically said, because Microsoft supported them throughout the whole ordeal, especially during the war, when they even lost developers and stuff as they went to the front lines, as a way of showing respect, thanks to Microsoft for continuing to fund them and support them in their difficult times. Because apparently Microsoft went above and beyond in terms of supporting them, both financially, just helping them just get by their day to day and stuff, just living over there.
Yeah.
They said they've made it exclusive.
Right, and that may be what's happening with Replaced as well. But this is to my point of what you're saying. There's always going to be exceptions to a rule. I understand that. Mm-hmm. A major third-party publisher that is Square Enix should not continue to be doing this.
No, they should.
That is my personal opinion. Like even if it was also on PC day one, I wouldn't even be saying anything. Okay, whatever. But the fact that it's not even on PC, I'm like, come on, really? It's like, and you're seeing, and who knows what's real with physical versus digital, but you see everyone in a tizzy already today about the second week in Japan, how the numbers have fallen off a cliff.
But it's normal, as we just saw in the stream today.
Right.
Every Final Fantasy has had that.
Right. But I even go back to what Sean Layden just said last week, where he was just talking about, even if it's a 10% uplift, having games like that with super high budgets on another platform, it's worth it. And that's all my opinion really is. I get people want to get territorial with consoles and how dare you say something because you're on an Xbox show. It's so freaking what is what I say, because I'm looking at the overall health of the industry. It's not about Xbox versus PlayStation. It's about, you can't have these major AAA games limited to one platform. They should be getting as much reach as they possibly can. That's just my personal opinion. First party, I get it. You own the IP. You made it. You financed it. Of course, you're going to have a window of exclusivity, if not 100% exclusivity to your platform. But third party shouldn't be doing that. My personal opinion. But hey, people get mad at me anyways. So that's all.
Last question.
And
I saw that in a super chat.
Super quick, and then I got to go.
OD. Someone in my chat said, any chance of Kojima showing the Xbox game at either Summer Games Fest or the Xbox presentation?
The fact that he showed it at the Game Awards, we obviously already know his relationship with Keighley. I'd say it's definitely possible.
Good stuff. Right, man, I don't want to make you late for your meeting. I'll definitely get in touch and we can have a more nuanced discussion about things. Absolutely. Upcoming show.
Just ping me offline and we'll see what works and we'll definitely do it.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right. Yeah, you too. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, bye. Right, thank you to Paris for jumping on and answering a few questions, and we'll definitely try to get him on next week or something to actually have a much more longer discussion regarding the future of Xbox, where we see it, how things are going, and I hope you guys enjoy the back and forth discussion that we have. I know it means I'm a little distracted as I'm listening more, but I am reading the chat at the same time. I'm passing on your stuff as well. I really like Paris. He's a really nice guy, and he's very down to earth. He's not hot headed. He's not rage induced. He just says it how it is, and we're much alike in that sense. Sexy bald man that can give Alex a run for his money. Chaos Spider-Man, the Great Web got cancelled. It did. There's two people on that camp, Devastator. Thank you for that super chat and the previous super chat, Devastator. I did get your question in right at the end, so hopefully that answered your question there as well. Was good. What's Paris do? Is fits public knowledge. He's media. Well, kind of like he has a website called the X Podcast, and he's a host on there, and they do like a weekly podcast, I think on Fridays, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good show. Definitely check it out because it's really cool. And I took a lot of stuff, and it's interesting. But hopefully I can get him on for next week, and we can have that discussion, because I think there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about that we can fire backwards and forwards, and I think it would just make for a really good presentation. But leave that with me, and I'll definitely try to get that done. Do you think Square Enix lied to Xbox fans with the promise for more of their games coming? I do not. I think they were true to their word. We've seen Visions of Mana coming. I think Visions of Mana is the first time it's appearing on Xbox. So that's a clear indication that they did not lie. But it's just going to take time. Games can't be ported overnight. Now, can games like the Pixel Remaster be done really quickly, turned around? More than likely, right? They're probably running off their own sandbox or something. And even if they're not, I just can't imagine it taking that long to port something like that. But for some of the bigger games, you need at least like anywhere from 6 months to a year to port. Something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, if they haven't started it, if they started it today, would probably take somewhere between 6 months to a year to port over. Because you've got the actual porting process from the PlayStation SBME over to DirectX. I guess they could use the PC version and port the PC version to PC. That would save a lot of time. But then you've got all the optimization that has to come for the Series X. And don't forget, unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, fortunately or unfortunately, you've also got the Series S. And that creates its own share of problems in how long a game gets to come over to Xbox. Because they're not just optimizing it for one platform, they're optimizing it for two. And the other one is drastically weaker. So as you saw with Baldur's Gate, where there were features that weren't supported, that caused it to delay quite a bit, like a few months. Or some games just are delayed for 6 months to whatever. So it's a lot more difficult in that regard because of the Series S being there. I'm not saying the Series S is a shit machine. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have to optimize for two specs, and with limited RAM on one and not on the other, and if the game is unoptimized anyway, like say Final Fantasy 16 is unoptimized, that could cause, development problems along the way. They'd need to find ways. And, Baldur's Gate managed to find a way, Larian managed to find an amazing way to utilize less RAM and deliver the same product thanks to the Series S. So they actually improved optimization because of the Series S, and that turned out to, up performance for their Series X and the PS5. So the Series S, in essence, made the games better. So it's a trial and error. But it's not the same on PC because PC has unlimited RAM. You can run the games on the lowest spec on PC, But you've got your 16 gig of RAM or your 32 gig of RAM, and you're perfectly fine. They could, at the end of the day, the limitation on the Series S is the RAM. That is the limitation, and you've only got a limited amount of RAM on the Series. I think it's like 10 gig. That's not a lot. When system memory is taking about a gig or so, you've only got like 8 gig of RAM, and that just isn't enough in this day and age. That was a massive oversight by the developers, by the people who manufactured the Series S. It was a cost-cutting exercise, and that's what they did. But it's hurting the console now. That's the reality. If the Series S had the same amount of RAM as the Series X, it would not have a problem at all. None. Because if it works on the X, it will work on the S. All features, all everything. But the reality is it doesn't have the same amount of RAM. Now, I get why they reduced it. Because if you're not handling 4K textures, you don't need to store as much data into the random access memory. But certain games are utilizing a lot more RAM without it needing those 4K textures, because games can't run in 4K anyway, right? So when they're not running in 4K and they're still running in 1080p or less, and they're still using 12 gig of RAM, the Series S is going to have a huge problem because it's only got 8 gig available. Do you remember back in the Xbox One days when Microsoft, Destin held the 900p Xbox this way and the 1080p PlayStation 4 like this? You remember that, right? Everyone remembers that. It's iconic now. That was because Kinect was using part of the RAM always. And it wasn't till later on that they actually took away Kinect's ability to basically block RAM. And they gave full access RAM to the Xbox One and the developers to utilize. And then from 900p, it went to 1080p. But that's how important RAM is. RAM is really important for the running of the console. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but I hope that's answered your question, Anime, in as easier way as possible. They did. Anime. They were working closely with Larian to try and find a solution. And that's probably how they found that solution with the Series S. The spec can lower so they can optimize for... nothing is optimized. Mate, if you're going to run it at 6 gig of RAM, you're probably going to run it at 320p. I mean, I'm blind as it is, so, for someone like me, it's okay because I see a blur anyway. But the moment you have 320p on a 4K screen, it's literally just going to be a smudge on screen. You're not going to have a good time. Right? So, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. The Series S was a great concept, and it can work even better. They would have learned a lot from the Series S. They would have learned a lot. And like I said, the average person that's a gamer, the normies, they don't care about 30 or 60 FPS. All they want to do is play video games. Those people will still buy a Series S the next time it's out. They might buy the next X, who knows, but they'll probably jump back into the S version because it's cheaper and it gives them access to next-gen gaming. But as long as they can, they can have the same GPU architecture, the same RAM, and the difference being the GPU. This one can have 20 teraflops, this one can have 10 teraflops. That's fine. The RAM is important. As long as the RAM is there, then it's all good. They will have no problems in having the game similar. I always have been the type who doesn't care about the whole frame wars. If I'm playing on my TV, 30 FPS works, right? If I'm playing on my monitor, which is where I do most of my gaming, my monitor just doesn't do 30 FPS. Everything stutters and it looks horrible. Like really, really horrible. And unlike on my TV where I don't see the stuttering, even with motion blur off, on my monitor, because of the high refresh rate of the monitor, at 143 hertz, I actually see the stutters, and it makes me sick. It gives me motion sickness. So on my monitor, I literally cannot play 30 FPS. It's why, to this day, I still haven't finished Final Fantasy 16. I might not even finish it before the PC version comes out and just restart it again. I mean, Rebirth is... I mean, I'm only on chapter 2, so I don't know, but Rebirth isn't bad. I mean, I've heard bad things about it. I've heard good things about it. People loving it, people hating it. It seems to be a mixed bag. Going from 120 to 30 is so strange. Mate, going from 120 to 30 is literally slideshow territory. So what I missed, restart the stream. Using features of UE that didn't make sense for PS5. It's weird. I don't know, but it's weird. The PS5 is a powerful console, and it utilizes stuff really well. It's all because of that magical SSD. That's it. You know, if it wasn't for that SSD, clearly the PS5 would have no chance. But that magical SSD, folks, that magical SSD, the one that, you know, gives it the teraflops, the one that gives it all the frames, the one that does all the graphics handling, the one that does all the CPU handling, the processing, the one that does all the, you know, it pretty much controls the whole game. It's all down to that magical SSD. Without it, the PS5 couldn't run any game. You heard it here, folks. I don't care for frames until I played COD at 120. It's crazy how buttery smooth 120 is over 60. You go down to 60 and you see the difference. I just watched Dr. Disaster on GTA 6 with Sweet Baby Inc. It was great. Alright, chat. The unicorn SSD. And PS Square put the SSD in the final marketing. Of course they are. It's, you know, it cuts loading times. It's amazing. Can't be done on any other hardware. Except on PC now, because they're actually faster than the magical SSD on PS5. And yes, that's true. You know, PC SSDs now have gone past... I think the Gen 5s are now faster than PlayStation 5's SSD. Is that a good thing, Centrevez, or is that a bad thing? All right, chat. Let's do one video watch. Let's do one video, and we'll call it there. What do you guys want? What shall we react to? What are we reacting to? Oh, we're almost at 640 subs. That's what I like to see, chat. That's what I like to see. Don't forget, chat, if you've just joined the show and you're not yet subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 7,000 subs before the end of March. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I think we can do it. I do. We're going to be pushing out a lot more content. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to talk about before we go on the escapade of stuff. So I'm going to make a short 2-minute video for this as well, or I might just do it in the community notes, but in the community section. I don't know. It might be easier for the community section. I'm not sure yet. So my thumbnails, just so you all know. My thumbnails are kind of a mid, whatever. But as I'm looking to expand a little, and I know not all of you are looking forward to the content that I'm covering, like the more diverse content. So we've got the news content, we've got the stream, we've got some of the Steam Deck stuff. I'm going to have my first video on that released this weekend. And then I'm going to try and do like some more like maybe mini reviews, previews. Like I want to play that Unicorn game. You're given 7 hours. I'm going to record my time on there and then just give an impressions of my time within that 7 hours to say how it is, for example. On the thumbnails themselves, I'm going to make them very distinct and color-coded. So you will know instantly just by looking at the colors of the text and in certain corners, you'll know exactly what the content is. So if you're interested in it, happy days. If you're not interested in it, no worries. But because I'm adding some diverse content to the channel, I'm going to make the thumbnails a lot more distinct. So just through visual recognition, you'll be able to instantly see what it is and if you're interested. So I'm hoping that's something you'll appreciate, you'll benefit, because I don't want you to click on something that you're just not interested in or not going to like. If you want to watch it to support the channel, that's great. I appreciate you, but if you're not interested in that content, like, for example, the Steam Deck stuff, you'll at least know instantly that that's what it is, and you can just bypass it. So it'll all be color-coded, so you'll instantly see it. I appreciate you, Susano. Alright, so was there a video that you guys wanted me to check out before we call it a night? Otherwise, I am going to go to the Harmon video. Wait, no, there's another video here. Former Bungie lawyers reveal vile agenda against gamers. Is this just a pure hate video, Devastator? Okay, since people have heard about it, let's go into it. This tweet seems to have done okay, huh? Man, all these people that no longer care about Xbox sure do like to talk about Xbox for engagement money. You'd think by now they would have mulled it over, but no. That engagement money is starting to look good. They, in essence, have become the Xbox version of Unleashed. Ouch, but so true at the same time. Alright, let's check this out. It's only 13 minutes and we can end on this one. As for tomorrow's stream, we're going to have a bit of news. I don't think there's going to be much, just so everyone's aware. And we're going to be probably doing some bit of gaming afterwards. Haven't decided on what game yet. We can either have like a community game or probably play something that I'm just feeling like playing. And we'll take it from there. And if it's a multiplayer game, then I can grab people from the chat and we can do that as well. So just a heads up, that's the plan for tomorrow right now. Unless something really big comes up that we need to talk about, like Microsoft buying Sega, that there's nothing to indicate that that's happening, by the way. But, if it's really big, then we're going to be sitting down and talking about that in quite length.
Former lawyer for Microsoft, Xbox, Bungie, and the Pokemon Company has come out to defend Sweet Baby Inc. Also made it clear that he has made a career of trying to get rid of gamers. And he also makes it clear that he hates you if you are calling out Sweet Baby Inc. and its vile actions. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. This man's name is Don McGowan. You can look at his LinkedIn profile right here. He started his career in 2004 as an attorney for Microsoft. He then moved to Xbox Game Studios in 2005, was there till 2008. He then was at the Pokemon Company International for 11 years from beginning in 2008. Looks like he ended there in 2020. He then jumped over to Bungie, where he created a bunch of diversity and inclusion programs for them. Was there from 2020 to November 2023. And now he says he is self-employed. But this is what he had to say about Sweet Baby Inc. and his disdain and hatred for video game players. He posted this under his handle Legal Minimum, but he does confirm that he is Don McGowan. He posted this back in September 23, 2022. He says, "I am Don McGowan." It's right there. So this is who this is. He responded to a thread by Kotaku journalist Alyssa Mercanti that claims that Sweet Baby Inc., as well as herself and other journalists, are being harassed. Of note, Mercanti does not share that Sweet Baby Inc. employees Chris Kindred and Maya Kramer, as well as CEO Kim Belair, have launched multiple cancel campaigns against the Steam curator list and its creator, Brazilian gamer Cabrutus Rambo. She also makes no mention of the racist actions of Sweet Baby Inc. employees or the past racist comments made by Kim Belair. Obviously, I'm referring to current Marvel's Black Panther developer Danny Lalonde, who admitted to discriminating against white people and has also admitted to being a racist in the past week. And then obviously referring to Kim Belair's comments from 2019 that she made during the Game Developers Conference, where she compared straight white male gamers to picky babies, and also revealed that those gamers are the ones that are standing in the way of her progress and her goals. But this is what Mercanti.
If you don't know, that woman, Kim Belair, that he was just referring to, she actually turned around and in a presentation that was leaked online and basically turned around and was speaking to companies and saying how if people aren't on board with what we're selling and not on board with our vision, they're referring to Sweet Baby Inc.'s vision, you should instill the fear of death in them so they understand that it's our way or the highway. Referring to Sweet Baby Inc.'s way or the highway. This is the threats that they were making to these corporations. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't understand who the fuck they think they are, but why the world is pandering to them. Like, you know, this isn't the way you push DEI, right? This isn't the way you do it. I get the world has been so stuck in its ways for a long time, and it's been a really slow progressive movement. But we've come a long way. But this, making threats, is not the way to do it. And the fact that it's public now just has completely overshadowed everything. Like, even if, let's just say hypothetically, what Sweet Baby Inc. was doing is a good thing, and, you know, pushing diversity, pushing equality, pushing inclusion in a tasteful way, in the right way, it wouldn't even matter anymore. Even if they decided that they're going to do things the correct way now, no one gives a shit because of what they did in the past and how they have handled themselves. People just want them gone. They have fucked themselves up for not only themselves, but people who actually do genuinely want to see themselves represented. And those people, like in games like, what is it? Tell Me Why. And what was the other one? There's another one of a similar kind. It's gone off my head now. But there are so many, you know, games that could be made or characters that could be introduced that don't need to be iconic characters that we've grown with, that you can make new IPs with and introduce characters. But you don't have to do threats. The moment you do stuff like that, you fuck it up for yourself. And like I was saying earlier, you know, people who I know that are gay, that are lesbians, they really hate this shit because they've been trying to push, progress for a long time, and they're being socially accepted. They don't need to hide. They don't need to hide who they are. They can, for a time now, they feel comfortable in being able to say, look, I'm gay, and I'm happy to be gay. And now they feel like they can't say that. So all Sweet Baby Inc. has done is just made it worse for the people that they're trying to essentially show, inclusion to. They're actually making it so people exclude them by turning even more people against them. And then you've got the lemmings out there who are just going to jump on any bandwagon because they're trend hunters. So if it's trendy to be pro this, they'll do that. If it's trendy to do pro that, they'll do that. If it's trendy to be anti this, they'll do that because they just want to be in with the hit crowd. And then that's how you get hate mobs and stuff like that. But all of this is because of a group that actually started out that wanted, it's supposed to be, being positive about DEI. And instead, they're threatening people. This ESG shit really needs to just go away.
Wrote, she said, if you aren't sure this is a harassment campaign, just look at the content, look at how many sock puppet accounts flock to comment on posts, look at the language in those comments, look at the images they're sharing, the way they're manipulating pictures of women. So McGowan responded to this thread that Mercanti posted, and he wrote, thread, 20 years in games, 17 in the C-suite, so I'm well situated to say these people blaming one consultancy for everything they don't like are again demonstrating they know nothing about the subject they purport to be discussing. They are sexist and racist. So the guy literally starts off by lying, claiming that people criticizing Sweet Baby Inc. are only blaming them for everything that is wrong in the video game industry. That is absolutely not true. Much of the discussion has been obviously pointed at Sweet Baby Inc., but there's been a lot of other companies that do the same thing that Sweet Baby Inc. does, and there's also been a ton of criticism levied at these AAA game studios for hiring Sweet Baby Inc., knowing what their goals and mission is. So he's just straight up lying there. Not surprising, right? And then he obviously calls gamers sexist and racist. What do you expect? That's what these people do. All they know how to do is throw out labels because they don't have the truth on their side. So they lie and then accuse their enemies of things that they are actually guilty of. Remember, we have an admission from Daniela Launders, a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee, that she did indeed discriminate against white people and that she is a racist. So you really can't make this stuff up. I mean, they always expose themselves. They always tell on themselves because they can't keep the lies straight. You can't, I mean, once you tell so many lies, they eventually start contradicting themselves because these people aren't very smart either. Nevertheless, he goes on and says this, and it never occurs to them that the reason that nobody made games for them was because nobody wanted to make those kinds of games. That's utterly ridiculous. People were making these games for years. They enjoyed them. They wanted to make those games. Again, he's just lying through his teeth over and over and over again. It just doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. I mean, people are really enjoying Helldivers 2, so people are indeed making games for gamers. It's just why would you be making a game if you didn't want to make a game for gamers? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He then says nobody wants your money because no one wants you in the environment. Take it from someone most of whose job was figuring out ways to get rid of you. So he actually confirms that his job as a lawyer at these companies was to remove you from gaming. This is something we also just recently saw from Warner Brothers Discovery's chief diversity officer, where he actually said he wants to create environments where he excises employees from the company. Just utterly ridiculous the way these people operate. It is truly vile and evil. But there you go. Confession from Don McGowan that he's trying to get you out of gaming. He literally doesn't want you to be buying these developers' products. I mean, what kind of company hires a person like that says like, no, we actually don't want people buying our games? Like, and you wonder why games like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League likely lost over $100 million for Warner Brothers. I mean, truly, truly baffling. You're wondering why game companies like Volition are shutting down after their Saints Row debacle. I mean, just look at the landscape, Mr. Don McGowan. The truth and the evidence of that truth is just simply not on your side. And that's why you have to lie and obfuscate. He then goes, trust and safety departments exist to get a-holes out of the gaming environment. That's probably true. And obviously when he's saying a-holes, he's referring just to gamers. I probably do agree with that assertion. Obviously, he just said that is what his job was, and he probably was head of one of those trust and safety departments. We obviously saw all of that with Twitter back in the day before Elon Musk took it over. We know how their trust and safety department operated. It was clearly to silence opposition to the regime. Nevertheless, he goes on and says, you end up creating them to get rid of a-holes because adult humans don't want to spend their leisure time with a-holes. You're a gamer gator. F off, you child. And he takes the Lord's name in vain there. So this guy is clearly deeply wounded as well, I think. I think he has his own internal problems, very deeply wounded here, and he's lashing out because he has his own problems that he clearly can't deal with. That's just kind of my opinion on that. And then he says, nobody wants your money. And then he's literally trying to tell you to be a degenerate by buying anime porn. I mean, the guy.
I mean, at least on that last point, the guy was based, right? Go buy anime porn. Because everyone likes a bit of hentai, right? Right, chat? Right? No? Just me? Just me? I mean, at least on that last point, on that last go spend it on anime porn, you know, at least he's a little based.
He's truly has a lot of problems here, and he's just lashing out. But he's also, I think, revealing how some of these game developers operate and how much they truly do indeed hate you. I mean, just look at how much this guy hates you, because I think he hates himself. And I think that's what you see a lot with these entire like game developing studios are operating with people like this. They hate themselves and they lash out, showing their disdain and hate towards people who do not like what they are doing.
Let me just show you something. We'll come back to the video in just a second. Let me just show you something. So this actually occurred today, and I was I was already really angry today about something, but my friend Ginger Prime. Now he's as pretty much Christian devout as they come, but you know, he's not a racist. That is one of the things that he is not, right? He is not a racist. At all. I mean, there isn't a racist bone in his body, right? Let me see. Where is it? Because in the end, I had to mute this person, right? Is there anything else, or did they delete their tweet? Did they delete it? Because I just couldn't take their bullshit anymore. It was literally filled with so much bullshit. All right. Can someone tell me, right, what Ginger Prime here said that's racist? Hires her team based on skin color. Who is the racist one here? Is it Ginger Prime by pointing an example of how not to do something? Or this evil charm person? So this Mad Munchfest, who is, by all means, I'm assuming a lesbian, is basically saying that what he's using here as an example, by bringing evil charm into the limelight, is him being racist. This is the type of deluded crazies that are on the internet. And so she turns around and says, Tyler Perry movies all have black characters, not white. Where's the same arguments? And he says, wouldn't forcing white characters into a Tyler Perry movie also be an issue? Because that would be the very point I'm talking about. Basically shoehorning characters. Apparently, she said, that's racist too. Right? Apparently, him saying that it wouldn't be contextually correct to have a white person in that movie in like the context of her surroundings is being racist as well. Like, this is how fucking far gone they are. Literally. This is how far gone they are. I mean, this went on for ages. Like, they just wouldn't stop. It was mental. I had to mute him in the end because it was just like fucking crazy. Anyway, back to the video.
He then went on to take a shot at former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern via ex-user Rami Ismail. Ismail is a Muslim activist and co-founder of Lambeer, which is a game studio that has produced a mobile game called Ridiculous Fishing, as well as Luft Trousers and Nuclear Throne. I'm not familiar with any of those games whatsoever. And his Wikipedia page actually says he's basically a like he goes around and does like PR for diversity and inclusion in video. So shocking that he would be cited there, right? But this is what Ismail wrote. So the Gamergate ex-dev grifter, obviously he's referring to Mark Kern there, is back claiming crap about forced diversity, leading to funding. And let me tell you, not even once in my life have I worked on or with any title that had an easier timing getting funding because it was different, diverse, inclusive, or equitable. Except we know that ESG investing is real. We've seen it. We know that these companies have it on their websites. You can just go to Embracer Group. They literally have a whole ESG thing. So you're lying. They literally do this to get more funding. It's on their websites. They literally have it on their investment portfolios. You can look at film production studios and companies like the Walt Disney Company, which license video games. They have that a part of that as well. So we know all of this stuff actually does indeed happen. So again, another lie.
So you hear there? This is what I've been saying all along. It's all about money. These companies don't give a shit. All they care about is money. Can they make more money by having an ESG rating? Yes. So they're going to do it because they want more money, more funding. Will they sell some more games and be more popular? Yes. And then they want, because they make more money. If they weren't making the money, they wouldn't give two shits. They wouldn't even care about the ESG if there was no funding.
That Don McGowan is pushing here. It's wild that this guy's a lawyer, but I guess in this day and age, you got to be a good liar to be a good lawyer, right? He then posted, by the way, if you're effing crying about the fact that I'm telling you to eat crap, think about why you're such a person that the producer of Detective Pikachu thinks you are human garbage and maybe work on being less crappy. I mean, he's just completely like gone off the rails here. He's lost the plot. He's now saying like, oh, I created Detective Pikachu, and I'm calling you a human garbage person. So that must mean you are a human garbage. I mean, the ego on this guy is just absolutely massive. And again, I think is another piece of evidence that shows he is a severely wounded individual.
Power Boss, I mean, that is the primary selling factor of Stellar Blade, yes. I mean, Stellar Blade's unique selling point right now is her assets. But when you look at Shift Up and the games that Shift Up makes, if you've seen Nikkei on my other channel when I streamed it the other night, you'll pretty much see exactly the audience that they're trying to go to. And guess what? It makes money.
He then says this, you complain about bubbles, but you're living in the biggest one. You dorks sit around self-reinforcing that you're somehow not human garbage. Get your moms to give you more allowance and buy a clue. So again, he's now patronizing and insulting gamers. I mean, it's wild that he worked at a gaming company and he hates gamers so much. Worked at multiple gaming companies, he just hates them so much. Geez. I have to say, I'm almost impressed with the one person who quote tweeted the original tweet and also screenshotted it in case I blocked him so he could have forever proof that he is a dork and no one intelligent agrees with him. I mean, I still blocked him because dork. I mean, he's literally whining about bubbles and he's talking about creating his own bubble by blocking people who disagree with him. Truly wild. He then cites an interview with Aftermath where he explains what he did at both Bungie and the Pokemon Company as a way of giving his opinion more authority. I don't think it does at all. Again, it just kind of reinforces that there's a bunch of deranged, wounded individuals who work at these companies who are taking their own self-hate out on gamers. He then wrapped up his thread writing this. What's the old rule about not showing tolerance to people who are themselves intolerant? That one. That's what you see in this thread. And my response is, no, I'm not interested in debate. No, I don't care if you think I'm a bully. Get back in your effing lockers. So very clear there that these people are not interested in compromise. They're not interested in debate. And this is a war where one team is going to lose and the other team is going to win. I mean, this is what he is saying. If you think there's any kind of compromise with an individual like this, who is pushing this kind of vile, evil agenda that has this much hatred towards gamers, I really don't know what to tell you. There is no compromise with someone like this. These people want to destroy you, and they are saying it out loud that they want to destroy you.
And that's the problem, right? What he said right there. They're not looking to coexist. They're not looking to be accepted as as a member of society. What they want to do is replace the heterosexuals, the CIS, as they call it. Like, isn't even the term CIS offensive? I mean, they don't like being labeled as trans or gay or lesbian or lesbo or, muffin muncher or whatever like this. They don't want to be labeled like that. So why is it okay for them to label us straight people as CIS? Like, why is that acceptable? I mean, they are such hypocrites. And this is only the extremist ones, right? Because the average LGBTQ person is a wonderful person who just wants to have a good time, have friends, live life to max, and enjoy gaming or enjoy working or just enjoy being a normal human being, which is their God-given right. But then you've got the extremist activists who are like this person, who are just fucking crazy. And these people just need locking up. They exist on the both spectrum. You've got the crazies on the straight people as well. Like the ones that are literally just batshit fucking crazy. It works on both sides. It's not just one side, it's both sides. Those extremists need to just be pushed away because they're the ones causing the problems. Everyone else that's in the center middle, they're living in harmony. They couldn't give a shit whether you're gay, lesbian, straight, fucking a Gundam or whatever the fuck you are. You can be a car for all I care. I don't care what the fuck you identify as. Go identify as a fucking lamppost. I don't care. But those people are fine. They live in harmony. It's the extremists that are causing all the problems. And they just need to fuck off. It's really that simple.
He then concluded saying he doesn't want to hear the truth. Sure, dork, what you believe isn't true. So he's obviously he's quoting someone there who's criticizing him. And then he says, what you believe isn't true. Again, we've just gone over how many lies you've posted in this entire thread. So you're actually the one who's lying, and we have the evidence that backs up the actual truth. You don't. He then goes on and says, what people aren't allowed to disagree. Again, creating an argument there. Have at it, champ. I just don't care about your opinion. So again, he then admits there that he doesn't really care about the truth. So he's going to lie and continue to lie because he just doesn't care. And this is the type of person that has taken over the video game industry, people like Kim Belair, and is defending people like Kim Belair. So this, I think, is a good to highlight just who is running a lot of this stuff and why they hate you so much. Let me know what you guys make of what Don...
And this is the thing, right? Bungie's all about inclusivity, diversity, equality. What was the first department that got kicked out when Bungie had to lay off staff? Bungie's massive on DEI, right? They're huge. They put them center everywhere, right? Which department was the first one to get booted when they had to lay off staff? Second was their anti-cheat team. But this department got booted out even before their anti-cheat team. Who was it? I'll give you a clue. We're watching it. We're watching it right now. Bungie kicked out their DEI team straight away, right? Their DEI team was told, hey, you don't make us any money, so can you just fuck off now, please? That was Bungie. You know, all that drama that they did, all that hoo-ha that Bungie did, all that we are for DEI, we support inclusivity, we are here for, you know, our LGBTQ community, we love pride and all this. Yeah, we're losing money, so can you fuck off, please? That was literally Bungie. That is literally Bungie. We're losing money and you cost us money. You don't actually make us money. So can you see that door over there? Can you pick up your things and quickly just make your way over there? There'll be a person to escort you out of the building. That is businesses. Right? They don't care. They don't care. They're the first out. It was like, I wish Square stopped using DRM. What DRM is Square using? That's why USA National Security is going after Sweet Baby. I'm happy that they are. Look, I want a company to exist that actually promotes DEI, right? In a good way, in a natural way. Like, do you remember? I'm sure we're gonna end the stream in a few, but I'm sure everyone remembers the Last of Us TV show. I think it was a fantastic TV show. I think we all can agree on that, right? There was an episode in there with Bill and his boyfriend. And, you know, that episode was something that Neil Druckmann wanted to put inside the game. And he couldn't do it because he didn't have the budget constraints to do it. But it was something that always ate at him. But there was context there of that relationship. There was context there of that situation. So he managed to flesh it out in the TV series. I think that was fantastic. I think that was great. You know, the context was there. It was a really good way to introduce these characters and show a different side to them that none of the gamers saw. And no one complained about it. Everyone loved it. I mean, at least from everything I saw online, everyone was pro that episode. It was one of their favorite episodes because it just dived into the humanity side of Bill. That side that we never really saw. All we saw was Ellie just taking the piss out of him and trying to make a mockery of him. But this showed a completely different side. And I think, you know, it was done in such a good way. And this is what I'm saying. We need that sort of integration for it to become a lot more accepted by the masses. Shoehorning it doesn't work. Tyler Stanley with the $10 super chat. Hello, I'm the biggest Final Fantasy fan. No, I'm the biggest Final Fantasy fan. Do you think Final Fantasy 16 is coming? Amid rumors, what about 7 Remake? I love Xbox, but sometimes these single-player exclusives hurt. I think 16 will eventually come to Xbox. 7 is probably unlikely at this point. The first 2 seem to be indefinitely locked to PlayStation. When the third one is released. Now, what could happen is after all 3 are out, you could see them doing a release for all 3 on Xbox after. But right now, I don't see 7 coming to Xbox anytime soon. So if you want to play 7, your options are PC or PlayStation, unfortunately. But I do see 16 coming to Xbox. 16, you know, at some point will be coming. The port to PC is almost done, and I can see them using the PC port to port it over to Xbox because it's quite similar architecture. Devastator. Chaos, I wish Capcom would stop using DRM. $2 super chat. I asked, what are they doing? What is the DRM on Capcom game? Oh, Capcom. Yeah, Capcom is crazy with their DRM. I thought you said Square Enix. I'm pretty sure you said Square Enix before. No, you said Capcom. I was just blind. Yeah, that de novo DRM that they use in their games, Capcom uses, is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It's crazy disgusting. But folks, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to be back again tomorrow. And, you know, we're going to cover a bit of news. if there is anything. I think tomorrow might be a little lighter on the news unless something really bad happens or big happens that we can talk about. And then we can look at games to try out and play. Maybe we can check out Unicorn tomorrow and maybe play a few other games or multiplayer games. Just see how it's going and thing. The one thing I did want to end on is the fact that Shift Up is now for sale. This is the developers of Stellar Blade, and of course the waifu of all waifu games, Nikke. If you haven't seen that, that's clearly not what I'm trying to do here. So this is Nikke. You can clearly see the audience that they're going for with Nikke. So Stellar Blade is no surprise in what they're doing, right? Stellar Blade is no surprise. They know their audience. They know how to milk the money. But they are for sale, and I think Microsoft should go and buy them. It doesn't mean Stellar Blade will come to Xbox anytime soon, but I think that would be a great addition to Microsoft. There's a lot of boobs there, and a lot of booty. But folks, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. If you're in my Discord, pop in, say hi. If there's any games that you want us to check out tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure the news is going to be dry, but I am streaming tomorrow 100%, probably a little earlier than today, so we can definitely look at some games to play tomorrow, maybe some multiplayer games or other games. But yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot. Peace out, and I'll see you next time. Remain legend, folks. I'm out. Like Jamala said, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new, because every little helps in getting the channel to where I need it to be. Peace. Vindictus, yeah, I didn't see the tweet, but we can discuss that tomorrow. I'll check it out. All right, I'm out.